hope all is well. Billy Fratchett, peace, peace. Soul philosophy, just like love, love, peace. Queen Meek, truth seeker, peace. Street gospel. Latricia Armstead, peace, sis. Andrea Clark, very well. King Kai in the house. Meline King. Jennifer Lindsay, peace, peace. Angel LaShawn. LaShawna, excuse me. Peace, sis. All right, that's enough of that. How y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing? I had a few extra moments of my time, and I decided I wanted to spend it with you guys. How y'all doing? Now, I'm trying a new app tonight, Streamlabs. I don't know if y'all ever tried that, but that's what I'm working with tonight. I'm trying to figure this shit out, y'all, so bear with me, especially as it relates to the chat. I'm seeing two different chats right now, so it's a bit difficult. But anyway, peace. Aletha Busby, peace. Oh, Mylene. Sorry, Mylene King. I pronounced Mylene's name wrong. Gotcha. Mylene. Donovan Cameron, peace, peace. Honey Bunny in the house. Peace, you guys. So, you know, I really didn't have anything per se planned to talk about tonight. I just wanted to check in with y'all, chat with y'all a little bit, do a little Q&A, you know, and just basically freestyle this shit and see how it goes. Yeah, Mylene, this is not technically a Gaudio. I do have some in the plannings, in the works. But I just haven't had time to get around to actually delivering those. Vera, peace, Vera. Street gospel, peace. Yeah, let's get it. Now, let's see, who said? Jamie Staton, first time here. Well, welcome to the Crystal Healing Vibrations family. The family of gods. I see a lot of the gods came out tonight, too. So anyway, let's jump right into it. I did have a topic that's been toggling around in my mind that I wanted to just throw out there to basically start the night off. And that topic is this. What is being woke? What is being woke and what is being conscious? That's something that's been playing in my mind a lot because I've come to the grand realization, which I already knew, but it's been further reinforced, the idea that everybody's idea of being woke and being conscious are not the same. In the same way that everybody's idea of God or the higher self, or even so much as the ego, is not the same. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about what my perception of being woke is. Now, let me see, make sure this is still going. Okay, Billy says. Is it still loading, you guys? I don't know. But anyway, let me go ahead and continue on with the discussion here. Let me put a nice little picture up for us to talk. I wanted to talk about what exactly being woke may entail. And see, for me, you know, there's this experience. A lot of people believe that being woke has something to do um, with being conscious of, say, like what we call the black power form of being woke, which is coming to the realization of the powers that be, that is ruling this matrix, the idea of the matrix, the programming, the poisoning of the food, the air, the water, the indoctrination of the school system, and all sorts of different ideas like that. That's one form of being woke. But to me, that's not the ultimate form of being woke. And so I kind of wanted to discuss a little bit tonight what that ultimate form of being woke is to me. Now, there we go. Now, I want to know who all listening tonight has had this experience that I'm fixing to talk about. Because it is indeed a very rare experience, but it is the experience that they call the at-one-ment. It is the experience wherein one's ego is melted, and your sense of self, your identity, gets merged in with the entire universe. This is the experience that when a person experiences it, it usually starts a new form of religion, because what happens is, as they tell their experience, people begin to formulate a formula to recreate this experience, and that formula becomes religion. But it's the experience wherein your entire ego melts, and you begin to feel as though that in the same way that you beat your heart, most of us, you don't consciously beat your heart. Most of the time, you don't consciously blink your eyes, but yet you do it some kind of way. And so in this experience, you feel as though the same way you beat your heart and the same way you blink your eyes is the same way that you cause the rain to fall, the same way that you cause the sun to rise and to set, per se. The same way that you cause the tides is as if your body is extended past what you normally know to be as your flesh, and your sense of self extends out to be everything in existence. And so you have the experience that we see exemplified in all of religion. But as you all know, well, most of you know, I was raised up in a Christian background, so I generally relate these things to what we have known in the story of Jesus. Because for one, I do believe that whether Jesus was real or not, I believe that if Jesus was real, it matters not. The fact is that in the Jesus story, we have a template for this experience that has been termed cosmic consciousness, wherein one begins to feel their body as not just that which is on one side of the skin, but that which is on both sides of the skin. And so Jesus had this experience, character or real, it doesn't matter, wherein he felt himself to be one with the Father, one with nature, one with the cosmos, one with the creator of it all. And so for me, personally speaking, if one has not attained to this experience where you feel everything to be completely balanced and completely perfect, and you understand intrinsically why things happen the way they are, if you've not had this experience, to me, you cannot be said to be woke, regardless of your awareness. And again, like with all things, there's levels. And so I guess on some level, you can be said to be woke, depending on what you are aware of. But to me, the ultimate level of awareness, the ultimate level of wokeness is coming to the grand realization that as an apple produces apples from itself, as an apple tree produces apples from itself, so too the universe produces people from itself. And so you're not separate from the universe, but rather a manifestation and an expression of that universe. And your ego is therefore an illusion. Now that I've ranted and raved on, let me check some of these comments. Tippy Toes, peace. Angel Spills, peace, peace. Wanda Denise, peace. French wee wee peace. What do we have? JC says breath slows to damn near a standstill. So JC, I'm gathering from what you said that you have had that experience, and I would really like to know. I'm thinking about after this particular segment here on YouTube, taking this to Instagram, simply because I want to hear about your experience. It is a very rare experience, so much so that every event in your life pales in comparison. You can almost time everything in your life as it relates to that one event. It becomes as a light that casts a shadow on everything else in your life when you've had this experience. Some people who aren't aware of the phenomenon will attest and say something like, I am Jesus. We've seen this play out as it relates to Nature Boy, where you have the experience, but you don't have the unfoldment enough to process the information in a healthy way. And so a lot of things can go wrong in terms of when you have this experience, as far as aggrandizing the ego instead of using the experience to affirm to yourself the truth, which is there's only one universal being here controlling it all, in the same way that an apple is not separate from the tree on which it hangs. Though it may perceive itself to have a separate identity, the apple tree, along with the branches, along with the leaves, and along with the apples that hang off of it, is one entity. Grasp. What else we got? Honey Bunny says, I don't think it's possible to be woke unless you know how to think critically. People swear they're woke, but dumb as fuck for real. Yeah, and Honey Bunny, I think thinking critically is part of the rungs of the ladder to get you to that ultimate awakeness. But see, the experience that I'm referring to, which again, like I said, there are levels. And so this experience I'm talking about would have to be somewhere near the top of the ladder. It is something that you cannot generally make happen yourself. Now, of course, we know people have used substances such as DMT and different things like that, but I still think when you use certain substances to try to produce this experience, that you have a form or a version of it, but not its purest form. So as we see in the scripture, it says, not by will, not by might, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. And so that is basically a testifying to the truth that you can't will it. It is simply a grace of God. And again, God, in the way that I use God, is basically the one spirit that pervades all of matter here, also known as the Creator. And so, boom. Let's see. Antoine Westbrook, sorry if I mispronounced that. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, Antoine says, whose live is this? What is the focal point? This is Crystal Hill with Crystal Healing Vibrations. And we're just basically chatting about any and everything. Whatever you think, we want to talk about. We can be deep. We can go low. We can talk about the current events in YouTube land. And there's a lot of shit going on in YouTube land right now. Let's see. Okay, yes, proud member, third generation of native gods on earth here. And see, that's another thing, the whole concept of I am God. When people say that, just because they say that don't mean they're all saying basically the same thing. Some people perceive the concept of I am God separately from others. Like when some people say it, they mean what they're essentially doing is putting a crown on their ego. Again, as we see in the case of Nature Boy, I hate to keep using him, but he is the most apt representation of the ideas I'm trying to convey. He has put a crown on his ego and said, I am God and there is no other. And on one deep level, that is true, because there is only one being here. But what he means to say when he says it is, I am God, and that's just barring all else, you and him and her, None of those are God, which is untrue. Copperman, peace, peace, Copperman. Clever Stranger, peace. Thank you for tuning in. Brittany, the humble paralegal, thank you for tuning in. Soul Philosophy says, I know that I am one with the universe, but as far as an experience, I have not had one. Okay, so Soul Philosophy, how did you come to that realization? How did you come to that realization that you are one with the universe? Was it just by critical thinking? Because if you have come to that conclusion without this experience, then I would have to say that attests to the flexibility and the strength of your mind, of your ability to reason and process information. I would have to say that your mind is something like a supercomputer, because I must admit I did not come to this realization on my own. This shit hit me like a lightning bolt. It came literally out of nowhere. Let me take the time. I'm going to take the time to just tell y'all my story. I don't talk too much about my personal life and my personal stories for a reason. But I will share with y'all a little bit tonight of how I came about, how this came about with me, how it started, and how I got to where I am now. But let me check these comments, make sure I'm not missing anything. Billy Franchette says, most people have the common knowledge, wisdom, but not the understanding, which is the best part. Unfortunately, Billy, that is correct. From my observation, that's exactly what I see. We have knowledge hoarders, but very few people actually utilize wisdom, which is the proper application of that knowledge. Street gospel, exactly. Maylene King says, almost like a code, then after images and sounds repeating on my journey. Correct, Maylene. It's just like a code. Who on here has experienced the repeating numbers? We know that within the last 5, maybe 10 years, I don't think it goes back that far, but at least the last 5 years, there has been an increase in the phenomenon of the repeating numbers. You just be sitting around and then suddenly your eyes seem drawn to the clock and it happens to say 11:11 or 4:4:4 or 5:5:5 or 10:10, 12:12, things like that. Who here has actually experienced that? I would really like to know. Let's see. And there's a reason for that, you guys. Vera says, we become more and more aware. It constantly grows and sometimes we forget and come back again to new awareness. Exactly, Vera. Exactly. Andrea Clark says, how do you discover or create your passion for this lifetime? Well, Andrea, you discover your passions by what you're led to. It's like a let me put it to you this way. Sometimes it's hard for people to discover what they do like, what they are passionate about. So sometimes we have to start with the negations, meaning we have to start with figuring out what we don't like. A lot of times that's easier for us because the way our brain is wired, sometimes it's easier to see the negative. And so sometimes it works even easier or better for us if we just focus on what we don't want. It's like the process of elimination. It's like multiple choice questions. Sometimes you arrive at the answer by deciding which ones aren't right and then deciding from what's left. And so what I'm saying is figure out exactly what it is you don't like. And then once you've gotten that out of the way, then that narrows down the possibilities. And you can hone in more on what you do like, what you do feel passionate about. What is the thing? Ask yourself, what is the thing that you will stay up all night for? Easily. What is the thing that you can talk hours about and time flies and you haven't even noticed it? What is the thing that you could do for the rest of your life and be completely content and happy? What is the thing that calms your soul or excites your soul in some people? You have to begin to ask yourself questions. Interview yourself as you would a prospective partner. How do you get to know someone? You ask questions. You observe them. You observe their actions and their reactions. And you must begin to do the same thing with you. You have to first separate yourself from the things you think, the things you say, the things you do. And then you watch, observe yourself, even ask yourself questions, but be sure to give yourself honest answers. And slowly but surely you'll build up a relationship with yourself, and you'll actually begin to know yourself. But most of us, we come here and we start off running, and everything is pretty much a reaction. We're automatically moving and doing things, and we never stop and separate ourselves and just watch ourselves, ask ourselves questions, you know? Now, let's see what else we got in these comments. Okay. Billy says, wisdom is knowledge acted on. Most folks haven't gotten to embrace that. Yes. Correct, Billy. As I said in one of my other audios, people are like zombies. They don't realize it, but they're like zombies. They're steady collecting knowledge. And, you know, I watched one of the movies, I think it was called The Living Dead, and they had captured a zombie, and they tied her down to the table, and they were asking her questions, and they asked her, why do they like brains so much? What is it about brains that drive zombies or the living dead crazy? And she basically said that when we eat brains, it makes us feel alive again. It makes us as if they're able to rest for a little while once they've eaten some brains. They feel alive again. And so to a lot of people, truth seekers, quote unquote, are people who are the living dead. You're in between the living realm and the dead realm. You're not quite dead like you used to be, but you're not quite living yet. Meaning you're not as unaware to the comings and goings around you, but you haven't quite yet had this all-encompassing experience that allows you to rest in the finished work of Christ, as it is said in Christianity, or to just rest in the Tao, like it is said in Buddhist philosophy, and things like that. Thank you, Vera. Thank you for supporting the platform, sis. It is appreciated. You understand? And so that's why I say that this upper level, this all-encompassing experience is so important, because when you haven't had it, and you know it intellectually, it leaves you in the in-between place, the living dead, and you find yourself all throughout YouTube, all throughout Facebook, all throughout old spiritual texts and emerald tablets of thoughts. And I mean, there's no rock and stone unturned looking for this truth, because you feel this sucking black hole, this vacuum, this emptiness, and you know that something is there out there that can feel it. And if you just keep looking, it seems as though it's right under this rock. It's like right there in reach, and the closer you get to it, the further away it gets. And so you find yourself not being at ease, not being at rest. And so for me, this upper level experience is so very, very important. Now, there are ways where you can make it favorable for this experience to happen. You cannot cause it to happen on your own. Not the true and pure version. You can't cause it, but you can make the conditions favorable. Let me see, how else can I say this where it can be properly understood. It's something like, like the weather per se. You can't cause a tornado, but you can cause the conditions to be favorable for one. You know, the low atmosphere has to be hot and this and that and the other. You can somehow mechanically produce that and encourage the hurricane to produce, but you can't produce it per se on your own, if you know what I mean. And so there are different forms of meditation, different things you can do to make your mind apt to receive this seed from the universe, to make that seed attach to the wall of your mind and receive nourishment and continue to grow until it's birthed into your life. And again, I still think that the story of Jesus is symbolic in that way. Thank you, fam. I can't see your whole name on here, but thank you, CD something. Let me go into my editor and stretch this out where I can see, because I like to give credit where credit is due. And so the whole birth of Jesus, to me, the whole story, I can't help but see symbology within it, which is this, that, you see it talks about Mary and the virgin birth, that she had not been penetrated per se by a man. Now, when you think about man, man is a derivative of mind. Okay, man is men, like men's, like mint, M-E-N-T means mind. You take the T off and you got men. And so a man is a mind. You understand? And so when we talk about Christ, we're talking about a particular type of mind. Okay, and so the birth, the immaculate conception, most people's mind have not been penetrated by the universe or one of the spirits, one of the dominions or the principalities that make up what we call God. Okay, and so most people's minds is a virgin per se. And so this thing happens to where you are impregnated by the universe with a truth. You understand? And a lot of times when you're first impregnated with that truth, you don't know if it's a truth that is from God or if it's a truth that is from the evil one, that from demons or Satan or something like this. But as the story goes, somehow you receive confirmation from somewhere that lets you know, relax, this seed is of God. You understand? And it allows you to keep the seed and to feed the seed until it births your destiny. It births a conception of this world that is very, very rare indeed. A conception of this world that disbars you from being a slave. A conception of this world that disallows you from allowing other people to identify you. That keeps you from falling into the illusion that is this world, the illusion of death, the illusion of something being wrong here. I got to talking and forgot what I was doing here on this here whatchamajigger. Okay, I think that might have done it. So anyway, I will tell y'all my story in just a second. I'd like to communicate with y'all. What else we got? I'm so glad y'all decided to share some of your time with me. I understand how important time is. Angel Spill says, I learned something new every video this woman makes. Very good, Angel. I'm very glad. What else we have? Street Gospel says, yes, knowledge is powerless without wisdom. Facts. Peace and love, Tanya, Queen Yizraya. Jamie Staten, peace. Billy Franchette says, yes, mother, we refer to the God energy we possess. Yes. I found that many are filled with such a sense of hopelessness that they are confined to their immediate reality. He is a disgrace. His purpose is to control others and use women as his pleasure. Okay, so clearly Antoine Resbook is talking about Nature Boy there. Yes, Antoine, in a sense of hopelessness, if you've never experienced it, nobody can explain it to you. It is, Fontress L, thank you, sister. Thank you for supporting the platform. If you've never been in a condition of hopelessness, nobody can explain that shit to you. Nobody can make you understand how dark and how heavy that shit is. And what I see a lot in this conscious community, so-called conscious community, let me say, is that people are falling into a spirit of despondency. I see a really crazy paradox right now. Is what I'm seeing is that people have thrown away religion. Now, I'm not a religion advocate. I know you hear me talk in ways that seem like I'm religious, but grasp and understand that just because I use familiar religious phrases don't mean I use them in the way that religious people do. I understand the deeper spiritual truths behind what I'm saying now. But I've noticed that people have thrown away religious ideas, religious concepts to tack on what seems to me as other religious ideas, other religious concepts. It's almost like a divine switch. Something else I wanted to talk to you guys about is about veganism. Have you noticed that veganism is like a new religion out here in these YouTube and conscious community streets? Now people are afraid to say they still eat meat for fear that people will look at them like they're unholy or something of that sort. Isn't that amazing? Now it's new rules to being unholy. Now if you perm and dye your hair, you're unholy. If you eat a chicken dinner, you're unholy. If you live outside of the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, you're now unholy. Isn't that something? Interesting, huh? And it just looks like a big ass switch up to me. But again, when I try to tell people is limitations. You limit yourself. And as we're talking about the vegan diet, well, let me not go there. That's opening a whole nother motherfucking can of worms on this bitch. But let me say this, that to be is to kill. I know that hurts. I know that hurts to process that shit. To be is to kill. I want you to understand and understand deeply that anything that has a physical appearance, a physical body, also has a spiritual body that upholds that physical appearance and that physical body. So everything here has consciousness, even the rocks. Yes, even the rocks. Hence the scripture says that I will make the rocks cry out to me. Why? Because the rocks are actually alive. Don't believe me? Look up crystals. Now, granted, crystals are probably the most evolved form of the rocks, in the same way that the Venus flytrap is one of the most evolved of the plants. So much so, it's almost already in the next kingdom. The Venus flytrap looks more like an animal than it does a plant. In the same way, the crystal seems more like a plant than it does a rock. Do you understand what I'm saying? In the same way that a dog is probably one of the most evolved, or certain breeds anyway, forms of the animal kingdom. Dogs and those of the monkey kingdom. You understand? They're probably, if you think about evolutionary terms, they're probably a few lifetimes, 1 or 2 lifetimes away from jumping up into the next fucking kingdom. But anyway, there's no such, to live, to be, is to kill. And I know that sounds very barbaric and harsh, but in all reality, if you understand correctly that when you put the edge of a knife to a head of lettuce, that it does actually release a high-pitched sound that can be likened to a scream. Everything here has consciousness, some lesser forms than others. Say, for instance, matter of fact, let me show y'all. Give me just a second here, and I'm going to show y'all exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to go right to my gallery, and I want to show y'all a picture. And I'm going to explain exactly what I'm talking about using that picture. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this, because I want to go back to that cosmic consciousness experience that has basically started every single religion that there is on the planet Earth. But I did want to just drop this right here, since we're talking about it. Y'all bear with me. I'm looking for my little, I got it on screencast, so you may be able to see it, and you may not, until I get it up there. it would be way at the bottom, wouldn't it? So anyway, you guys, everything is pretty much symbolic here. Every single thing. Oh. Okay. Anyway, so please, y'all, I really would like for you to put in the comments. I really want to know, and not just the comments here. When this live ends, I want you to go back into the main comment section, not just on the live stream. Go back in the main comment section, and I want to know who all have had that experience. And if you don't mind, if you are able to, and if you feel comfortable enough, I just want to know a little backdrop. And again, like I said, we may move this over to Instagram so I can actually talk to you guys one-on-one. Because I have questions. Shit. I got questions. To me, that's one of the most interesting things to talk about. It is my passion. I can talk about it for literally hours. Okay. Here we go, you guys. I got it for you. Now, y'all see it there? You see that picture there? It's called the Wheel of Creation. Now, everything on this wheel has some form of consciousness. Of course, we know that energy has the least form of consciousness, but as you go around the clock here, the consciousness increases. But the point here is this: everything on this wheel of creation has a form of consciousness, albeit some lesser and some greater. So you cannot sustain your life, without taking energy from someone else. It reminds me of a movie I seen once before, where it's like there was a limited amount of energy in this world. It was like a sci-fi kind of movie, but actiony. And there was a limited amount of energy or something. And they used to scan their skin or some shit, and they would like gain time and how long you can live. And so anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that in order to sustain your life, you have to take life from another. But the best thing that you could do in that situation, for me, is basically reverence life. It says somewhere in the scripture that is why many people or die and sick and fall asleep before their time, because they do not discern the Lord's body. And so when you realize that all flesh here is part of the Lord's body, the Lord is the visible manifestation of the invisible God that we call nature, of whom we are all members of that body of nature, in whom we all live, move, and have our being. And so as we eat anything that we eat, whether it be a fruit or whether it be an animal, it is still the Lord's body. Fruits have flesh as well. You ever heard of that? The flesh of a fruit? Vegetables do as well. And so all of it is the flesh of the Lord's body. So I think, as the scripture says, there are some who are weak, who tell people to sustain from meats. Understand, though, that, again, it is all the Lord's body. And so we eat it and we drink it unworthily, is what the scripture says. What does that mean? That means we don't discern that this is the Lord's body as we're eating. We just, it's a fruit, and just eat it. But do you realize what you're eating, regardless, whatever it is, whether it's a head of lettuce, whether it's a fruit, whether it's an animal, whether it's the direct sunlight, it matters not. And so we need to be more of reverential whenever we eat and whenever we drink. Period. Now that was a whole nothing ass tangent I went off on. Let me take this picture down here and do a little rearranging. There we go. All right, you guys. Now, let me get back to this comment section. What do we have? Soul Philosophy says, would you say we are of God instead of we are God? Very good, Soul Philosophy. You can. And that probably, when you say it that way, Soul Philosophy, it probably would be more correct. It probably would be more correct. In the same way as, I describe it like this. If you think about it, we are in the image and the likeness of God, meaning we are in the very same image and likeness of the universe. The universal man name that they have named is Adam Kadmon, according to the Kabbalah. Okay, Adam Kadmon. Different religions have different names, Brahman, but nevertheless, it's as though we are cells. Thank you, Lion Locks. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Appreciate you supporting the platform and the rest of you guys. It's as though, we have cells in our body, right? But the cells in our body, their collective consciousness comes together to create my consciousness. Let me use myself as an example. Now, a cell in my body can have an experience. Thank you, Angel. Thank you for supporting the platform, sis. I appreciate all y'all support. One of the cells in my body can have an experience of higher awareness, wherein its consciousness is actually plugged into my consciousness, and it begins to feel its oneness with me, Crystal. Okay, but for that one cell to say that it is me is correct and incorrect at the same time. It is me in the sense that it is part and parcel with me. It is not separate from me, so it is me. But at the same time, it is not me in that its mother is not my mother. Its father is not my father. So what I mean to say is this. As an ego, that cell has a separate ego from my overall ego as Crystal. It has a separate birthday. It has a separate death day. It has a separate job. It has a whole separate system, things going on in its life separate from mine. You understand? I have 4 children. I don't know how many clones or copies of itself it produced, but I'm sure it's different from mine. And so egoistically speaking, the cell is separate from me, but at the deeper level, the cell is me and I am the cell. Because it goes to make up me. In the same way, I always use the analogy of the fingers. Yes, the pinky is a separate finger from the thumb, which is a separate finger from the index. But if you pan back your vision just a little bit, or if you dig just a little bit deeper, you will realize that they're all connected by the palm. And so though they are separate, they are still the same. They are all part of one overall structure called my hand. So for the pinky to say it's not my hand would be a fallacy. But for the pinky to think that it is my hand and it only is my hand, as we see in the case of Nature Boy, would also be a fallacy. I hope that makes sense. So we are of God and we are God. It depends on what level and what perspective you're talking from. And I think that is what causes a lot of confusion in the minds of men all over the world. It's because you have to know from which level a person is talking about. From an egoic level, speaking from the level of we are all individuals. No, we are not God. God is an individual with attributes that we are not privy to. Okay, so from the egoic level, no, we are not God. And if you say from an egoic level that you are God, you have literally put a crown on the devil. Now, again, when I say devil, I don't mean the man wearing the red suit with the horns and the pitchfork, engulfed with flames of fire all around him. Okay, these are allegories. Okay. But when you speak from a deeper level, from a level of spirit, from the level absent of ego, from the level of the apple is part of the tree, and therefore the apple can be said to be the apple tree, then yes, we are God. The trees are God. The streams are God. The storms are God. Every planet is God. Every hair on your head is God. Why? Because besides God, there is no other here. no other nothing, no other substance, no other nothing. God is all that there is, all that there ever will be, and anything that is made has to be made from the substance that is known as God. Where can God, who is everywhere, not be? So how can people come to the conception that God is not in them and part and parcel with them? That is to say that God is limited and God is not everywhere. And that is a fallacy. Indeed. And you see in the Kabbalah, then they begin to say things like, how does God receive joy? God, or the universe, or the higher self, or Adam Kadmon, whatever name you choose to give it, how does that entity receive joy? And the answer is that entity receives joy when you receive joy. In the same way that you, as a being, as your cells have joy, receive joy, they pass that on to you, and you experience it in a collective form. In the same way as pain. You experience pain when certain cells that have been injured experience some difficulties, and that gets sucked to you, and you experience it as pain. And so in like ways, what we consider prayer here in this realm is simply contacting your higher self, in the same way that if I got cut on my leg, that the cells within that area of that cut can be said to have prayed, and enough of them get together, touch and agree, and quote unquote pray, then the message gets sent to me, and I can make shit happen. I could put some triple antibiotic ointment there that kills off all the bacteria and shit that's trying to infest up the area and things of that such. You understand what I'm saying? And so if you think about them matter of fact, let me pull up a picture for you guys so you could see exactly what I'm talking about. It's like Ezekiel said, it's wheels within wheels within wheels, as above, so below. See, if you look out into the cosmos, you see that the structure of a galaxy is equivalent to the structure of a cell. You understand? A molecule. And so in the galaxy, we have an electronic sun being, and around its circumference, we have magnetic orbs. But when you get into the cellular level, you see that you have a magnetic center with electronic orbs surrounding it, called the electrons. Okay, here we go. Here's my little picture. Okay, y'all see that picture that is up there? That Russian, they're called Russian China dolls. I think something like that, Russian dolls or some shit. Well, anyway, the whole point is that you are a cell inside of God, and it continues ad infinitum. You know, and when we say God, we have to be very, very careful, because again, there's levels to it. You understand? And so, nevertheless, it's all like Russian dolls. You see, if you look at the structure of your body is in the very same structure as the Earth, which is also in the very same structure as the solar system. And the solar system is in the very same structure as the universe. You understand what I'm saying? And so, it's wheels within wheels. Now, if you're curious as to what kind of wheels I am referring to, let me show you. It's wheels within wheels. And so, you've heard as of late, they have a term called, they say, drop the mic. And everything, again, is symbolic. There are messages that are constantly being sent to you from the universe. Secrets of the universe that are being played out in movies and music and song. And literally, it's all over you. The gospel of Christ being the wisdom of God, you're swimming in it. You're literally swimming in it. Every movie, every single thing is teaching you the gospel of Christ. And so if you have the ears to hear and the eyes to see, then it becomes like almost like the Matrix, where you see everything in codes. It may not be just in numbers, it may be in letters, because every letter corresponds to a number, which corresponds to a frequency, which corresponds to a color, which corresponds to a chakra, which corresponds to a planet, which corresponds to a continent, which corresponds to a note. You understand? Let me get to it, y'all. Bear with me here. I'm looking for my little picture that I want to show you, how we're literally all within the same structures. We're just wheels within wheels within wheels. And what you're basically doing in the process of ascension or evolution, or whatever name you want to give it, is you're dropping the mic. You're dropping the micro. You understand? So on every level that you're on, there's a heaven and there's a hell, meaning there's a level above you where the beings are more evolved, more omnipotent, more omniscient, and all the above. And then there's also a level below you where they are less evolved. And, you know, we have been described in many ways throughout time as the marriage of heaven and hell. And so you see the depictions with the man. Here we go. Okay. This is a picture. I found it, you guys. It's kind of small. Let me see if I can go to it from here. But anyway, you find that what you're trying to do is drop the mic. You're trying to drop the micro and move up to a bigger wheel. And again, it's like the China Russian dolls. You're constantly being pulled down, and you're constantly being pulled up. Like the story of the two wolves. It totally depends on which one you feed as to which way you go. You know, like it's also been said in scripture. Jacob says, I've seen a ladder wherein the angels are ascending and descending up and down that ladder. And so in the same way, we in this cosmic journey, we either go up or we go down, depending on the choices, depending on how we evolve. Okay, you guys. Sorry this is taking me so long, you guys, but I really, really, really want y'all to see this. Because it's things like this that help you to see really what we have going on here. Okay, I found it. And I want to take this time also to say yet again, I thank y'all so much for sharing your time with me. Again, I understand what your time is and how much it means. Now, here we go. All right. Y'all see what I have before you? What you see at the bottom of the screen is what is called the zodiac wheel. What you see at the top of the screen is, of course, a man. Now, you see his generative organs can be likened to the sun. But the point is the wheel that is surrounding him is his auric field. You know, I told y'all about how all of the holidays basically are teaching you a deeper truth about yourself. You know, lots of people like to say that holidays are evil and this and that and the other. But again, as electricity, as you are, as everything is, there's a good and a bad side to it, or a positive and a negative side to it. Okay? And so I focus on the positive side. I don't necessarily see the negative side. And maybe that's because of, not maybe, but it is because of my internal makeup. But nevertheless, I want you to see that these two are the same. I want you to also understand with this zodiac wheel here with the sun, and then you have the 12 disciples here. It's the same thing as in your skull. You have the vagus nerve, and then you have 12 cranial nerves around it. You know, you can see this pretty much everywhere. And so this disc, what you see here, is the structure of you, but it's also the structure of Earth. I know most of y'all probably know that there is a toroidal field shaped like a donut almost, that this Earth is somewhat made of. And so on one side there's a black hole, and on the other side there's a white hole. The point is this. What you're basically doing is dropping the micro wheel, which is the one at the top that we call human, and you are becoming becoming infused and one with the wheel that is the earth. Now, the wheel that I have at the bottom here, again, is the one in the cosmos. Okay, the sun or the moon with the zodiac wheel. But again, earth is shaped the same way. Okay, but on earth, where you see the sun at, that is where the hidden sun is, called Amun Ra. Okay, in the Christian church, where when we pray, it says we pray in the name of Jesus, and then we close our eyes, bow our head, and we say amen. Amen. Amen comes from Amun Ra, which is this hidden sun. Right above that sun, there is the Polaris star, okay? You've heard the story about the nativity of Jesus, that the three wise men followed the star that was right over Jesus's birthplace, okay? And I want you to understand that that hole there is also a portal. There's a level above and there's a level below. But you can't get to either one of those levels unless you go through the portal. Hence the saying that no man cometh to the Father except through me. All of this is symbolic. Now, the point is you need to drop the mic. It is time to drop the mic. You don't need to worry about what is the will of God, because when you find yourself, you also find the will of God. Ezekiel says he's seen wheels within wheels within wheels. You got to drop from the lesser wheel called the mic, drop the mic, and get in the macro version of yourself. Grasp. It's a deep thing, like Solace the Wise says. Now, I went off on a huge tangent there. I'm going to read some of these comments. Let me get back to my original picture here, and we can continue on with our discussion. I hope that we're saying something tonight that all of you can relate with. I'm pretty sure we are, or you would not be here if you could not relate to what is being said. I'm pretty confident of that. Okay? Every last one of y'all relates some kind of way, shape, or form. You literally would not be here if you did not. Frequency never lie. Okay, what else we got? Read these comments. JC says, I had an experience of interconnectedness with all things at once. Freaked me out in that moment. Okay, JC, that is exactly the experience I'm talking about. One of two things usually happen. People either feel very small and insignificant like a worm, or they feel themselves so big like they're God. For me, in my experience, I felt as though I was God. It was the weirdest shit ever. You literally, you don't know if you're losing your mind or what. Me growing up in the Christian church, you were never taught things like this. You understand? You were given the story, but you was told that it only happened to Jesus. It could only happen to Jesus, and so on and so forth. So when this shit happened to me, it broke in on me like a thief in the night, like the scripture says. What had happened was I had unlocked my chakras and were unaware that I was doing it. But I was being slowly guided from the outside. Well, it seemed like from the outside, but there is no such thing as the outside at the end of the day. But I was being guided to do certain things that I didn't understand. You understand? I really had no idea what the fuck I was doing. And when I did it, y'all, shit got crazy. And when I'm talking about crazy, I'm talking about really, really crazy. But it was the type of crazy to where I knew it wasn't a psychotic kind of crazy. You understand? And I'm going to say this too. And this, if you have not experienced this, you're going to think I'm fucking crazy. That's okay. But I'm going to say it anyway. Even the beings in the television set were talking to me. I'm going to say that again. The beings in the television set were alive, and they had a consciousness of their own. And they were speaking to me secrets. I would ask a question, not with my mouth, but with my heart. It's no way to really describe this shit without sounding like a complete Looney Tune. You understand? The radio, it was like the whole world was speaking to me as if I was in some type of Oh, I don't know. It was hard to explain. But I received in the blink of an eye information that it would have took me years to search. Now, I've spent years confirming the things that were spoken to me in the secret. Hmm? But I received all of that information within the twinkling of an eye. And my whole world changed. I have not been the same since. And magical things happen. My world is very magical now. Very, very magical now. Anyway. Let's see. I've seen, read that one. I'm trying to check these comments out, you guys. Girl bye. Girl bye is in the house. Peace, peace. Okay, French Wee Wee says, we have been so far conditioned to not think for self, nor question, so this is where we are at. People that question will keep the fires of knowledge and wisdom burning. Correct, French Wee Wee. Just about, I'm not going to say everything, but a lot of things in our world is designed to keep us busy, to keep us from being still. You see now that the thing is gather more knowledge, 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 knowledge. Everybody is hungry for knowledge, but nobody is hungry and thirsty for righteousness. You noticed? I'm going to say that again. That's a major point. Everybody is hungry for knowledge, but nobody is hungry. Nobody thirsts after righteousness. Now, what is righteousness? Oh, what is righteousness? And for me, righteousness can be summed up in one phrase. Has been exhibited and expressed throughout every single religion. The golden thread that runs through them all remains unchangeable, which is this: do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Everybody thirsts and hungers after knowledge, but nobody is thirsting and hunger after righteousness. We done got so low, we talking about everybody's kids and shit. Somebody piss you off. You're talking about how ugly their kids is, how you want their kids to die. We have no respect for the elderly. We have no respect for the young. We have no respect for ourselves. We just all out here doing all kinds of fuck shit. Yeah. Exactly. Now, read some more of these comments. Truth Ministry says, you're on point, sis. I would love to have a build with you sometime. I would love to have a build with you as well, Truth Ministry. It's just time is of the essence. Okay. Antoine says, preach. Wanda Denise says, we are all responsible for our own peace and happiness. Focus on your immediate circle and its stability. Exactly, Wanda. Nicely said. I'm going to say it again. Wanda Denise says, we are all responsible for our own peace and happiness. Focus on your immediate circle and its stability. Exactly, Wanda. Now, see, again, what we see in the world, we are bombarded with news from way over the fuck in Australia. So now you depressed today because in some mosque somewhere, now I don't know the whole story, I might be getting this shit wrong, but recently something happened in Australia, I want to say it was. Some people was killed. Now you all depressed and stressed out about terrorists and shit because of some shit that happened miles and miles and miles and miles away. Okay, technology is a wonderful thing, but it can also be a detriment to our mental health, literally. Okay, and so sometimes we need to cut the damn TV off. Sometimes you just need to focus on what's going on in your house, with your children, with your mama, with your neighborhood. Man, draw your circle in some, you understand? And focus on that shit instead of receiving all of this extra stimuli. You wonder why you're having all these extra ass dreams at night. Because you got too much stimulation, too much unnecessary ass information that your brain got to clean out. So now it's got to work twice as hard to clean out all this extra shit, figure out what is important and what you need. Man, look, less is more. You don't need any more knowledge. Everything that you need is already within you. It can literally be given to you in the blink of an eye. You can literally unfold that shit in a blink of an eye. But we refuse to do as the mandate has been given to us from all religions, all forms of spirituality since time immemorial, which is not gain more, not do more, not be more, but be still. Be still. Be still. Be a good shepherd of your soul. Lead it beside still waters, not turbulent waters. And watch and see if the truth of who you are, the truth of everything don't break in on you. You don't have to spend years searching through old ancient texts. You don't have to do none of that. All you got to do is be still. What you heard about in church, that the Holy Spirit is sitting around waiting on you. You don't have to do all this extra ass searching. I'm telling you, I'm a living witness to that shit. Once you get to a point, all you have to do is ask and sit back and wait and watch and see if your answer don't come on a billboard, through a movie, on a song, on some shit you hear your neighbor and his friend talking about. And it's funny because you know it's just for you, because it's just an inside knowing. It's like you'll be just doing something and then your eyes will automatically go to the clock and you see 11:11. Now, did you plan on looking at the clock at that time? No, you did not. No, you did not. But somehow, something magnetically drew your eyes over there to the clock. And in the same way, it will draw your eyes to the billboard. And you'll just know instinctively that that is for me. And that's how it works. But you got to be still so you can hear, so you can feel that little nudging that says, look over here. Turn here. Just like the 11:11s and the 4:44s and the 5:55s. There's something trying to communicate with you. Something that lives outside of time and space. Time and space are constructions of your mind. Time actually doesn't exist. Time is simply a way to measure eternity. I'm going to say that again. Time is simply a way to measure eternity. Space is simply a way to locate yourself or something else in the infinite, that which is without end. That's all it is. It's a form of measurement. But something is trying to communicate with you. Something that lives outside of time and outside of space. Something that is separate from you, but at the same time very much you. And your health, your wealth, and your happiness, and your joy has everything to do with it. In the same way that the wealth, health, happiness, and joy of your cells has everything to do with you. He'll tell you God don't care about you. God don't care about your health, your wealth, your happiness, your joy. You're insignificant to God. And I say that that's a damn lie. I care about the health, wealth, and joy of every single one of my cells. That's right, every last one of them. I would like to make every last one of my cells the happiest cells on the planet Earth, the wealthiest cells on the planet Earth. Because their wealth, health, and happiness directly reflects my wealth, health, and happiness. So I said all that to say this. Conscious beings cannot come from an unconscious source. Thorns do not grow on fig trees. How does scripture say that? Something about thorn and thistles. Yeah. Let's see. Read some more of these comments. Soul philosophy says exactly through processing after studying. Well, you have your mind is like a gymnast. Soul philosophy. Peace, caffeine addiction. Peace be with you. Girl Bye says she has. Leisha Faye says she have experienced the numbers for the last 5 years. Interesting. Have you, Leisha, have you built up a relationship between you and I'm not going to say the numbers, because the numbers are just a tool that's being used to get your attention. Have you built up a relationship? Meaning, have you come to the realization that you see certain numbers at certain times and what those numbers mean? I mean, things like that are a great help in this life. And they're really, really great help, because when you are confused as to which way should you go, left or right, you can ask within your heart. And like I said, the numbers can be used as well. Depending on which numbers you see, lets you know yay or nay, left or right. You feel what I'm saying? Like for me, if I see the numbers 444, which I've been seeing a lot lately, 444, to me, when I see that, that lets me know that the spirit/spirits, however you want to perceive it, is very close and near and dear to me. You understand? And so I know at that moment that I'm being guided. I'm being extrally guided. And so I let go a little bit more. When I see 444 a lot, I take my hand off the wheel, meaning I try to just flow. I try not to think too hard. I try to just, it's like people who are athletes or who play music. A lot of times they do their best when they're not consciously doing it. The thing is doing itself, using them. They go into what they call the zone. And so when I see 444, I try to consciously and manually put myself in the zone where I'm not thinking too much about what I'm doing. I'm just letting the doing do me. You see what I'm saying? And so when I see 555, well, I could go through the whole list of what I perceive is what message is being relayed to me when I see certain numbers. But the point is if you are seeing numbers, try to take note of what you're thinking about at the time, the situations in your life. Write it down. Get you a little notepad, even if you have to. And then before long, a pattern will begin to emerge. Okay? And you'll begin to form a relay system or a relationship between you and spirit beings, or the spirit, the source, the spirit realm, God, the universe, the higher selves, the demigods, whatever name you give them, or it, however you want to look at it. Let's see. J. Prince says, I have. Most of you have. Antoine Westbrook says, mine is 666. That's the one you see? Interesting. A lot of people are scared by 666. Nothing scares me like that. 1111. Oh, very good. 1111, balance. That's what I see when I see 1111, balance. That lets me know that I'm completely balanced right now. That lets me know that my internals are in direct relation to my externals. And so I began to look at my external surroundings to try to get an idea of my internal condition. You understand? So for me, when I see 1111, that's my indication that I need to kind of peep what's going on. That I have before me a mirror. It's not in sync all the time, because there's a sowing, and then there's a time sometimes between sowing and reaping. But sometimes my ability to manifest answers, my ability to manifest things are instant. And when I see 1111, I know that I am in that time where my external will match like a mirror my internal. And so I try to keep my thoughts along good things. This is not the time to let go of the wheel. This is the time for me to grab the wheel. You understand? And I consciously think of things that I desire, things that I want, how I want things to be. You understand what I'm saying? If that makes any sense. Marlene King says, yes, but also literally seeing numbers on a flower. Yeah, see, my brain's not quite that in depth as far as the numbers go, but I do know that it is possible. I do know that it is possible. Again, like it was for Neo in the Matrix. Andrea Clark says she have. Kylie, no, that's not Kai. That's Kai. Views I hope I'm saying that right. Kai View said, I have. Alicia says, at one point I believed in angel messages. Yes, I do believe in angel messages. But see, this is what I want people to really understand as it relates to this kind of stuff. As I said earlier, that you yourself, your being is a marriage between heaven and hell. You have a portion of the upper realm and a portion of the lower realm all coming together to make up your being. You understand? And so we have to keep in mind that you can get messages from either realm. The upper realm that has been termed heaven, or you can get messages from the lower realm that can be termed as hell. Okay? Or vice versa, depending on how you perceive your reality. Okay? So some people perceive hell as upper and heaven as lower. That's neither here nor there. The point is to be under the realization that you can be receiving messages from both. So how do you determine which is which? How do you determine which is which? Because no one wants to receive a message thinking it's coming from a higher realm and it's actually coming from a lower realm. You understand? So how does one determine which is which? Now, I can't tell you about everybody else and how they determine which is which. I can only tell you about myself. And for me, this is the thing. I feel like your aura can be your protective shield. Depending on what frequency or vibration you are in, depends on what you allow into your world and what can actually communicate with you. And so for me, I feel like that if you keep yourself at a high vibration, if you're at a high vibration, I don't never take messages when I know that I'm vibrating low, because I know I have opened myself up to low vibrations. Low, and what is a word but a vibration? All words are simply vibrations articulated differently. And so when I am vibrating low, I don't pay attention to any type of messages that I may receive, because I know that I am vibrating low. And so I don't receive that. It is only when I am vibrating high, I actually follow the messages. Now, if I want to manifest something, if I want to get an answer to something, if I have a particular problem and I want to be led or anything like that, I make sure I put myself in a space of high vibration. We've seen this in the Christian ideology, where they talk about before you pray and before you go to God, you need to go and forgive your brother of his wrongdoings, and go ask for forgiveness for any wrongdoings that you have done. Basically, aka put yourself in a high vibrational state. Okay? Therefore, all you can receive when you are vibrating high is high vibrations, like attract like. You understand what I'm saying? Some people get shit fucked up when they try to manifest things, or they try to receive things from God, from the spirit, from the higher self, whatever, when they're in a low vibratory state. That's not what you want to do. It's not what you want to do. Because God is love, but yes, God is also a consuming fire, lest we forget. You understand? So let's see. Nicole Turner, thank you for tuning in. Caffeine Addiction says, I see 10-10 all the time. Another nice balanced one. I'm not going to go too much into, I'm not going to do what I think all of these mean, because again, it's different for everyone. I could tell you what they mean for me, but that don't mean that's exactly what they mean for you. You have to build up a relay system between your different consciousness. You have a superconscious and a subconscious. Okay? And all languages aren't the same. There are archetypes that are generally the same across the board, but not everything's the same. Money Mind Manifest, peace. Money Mind Manifest says they see 999 today, but they see these numbers all the time. Even on license plates, you'll see the shit on license plate. I mean, just everywhere. Angel Spill says, I keep seeing 23. Wasn't there a movie? Didn't Jim Carrey make a movie called 23? Tanya Queen Yisraya says, not yet, but looking for it. But I saw it when my nephew pointed it out to me. Antoine says, I'm a cashier. I repeatedly had customers with balances of 666. Wow. You know what it means yet? Hmm? Go look it up. Search it up. But when you begin to look, first of all, put yourself in a calm, quiet, still, peaceful place. And then also, I want you to know that as you're looking for it, I want you to be confident that you have found the answer. Not that you will find the answer, that you have found the answer to exactly what it is. And I guarantee you, you're going to run right up on it. Woo, Copperman says 9/11 every day. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Street Gospel 777. Angel says, I'm having trouble donating. The circle is just spinning around. But will at some point. I'm not sure, Angel. You could do my PayPal. It's hilltribe6@hotmail.com on PayPal. I'm not sure what's wrong with it, baby. Billy says, yes, I see 444 at least 2 times a day. Queen, can you explain? Okay, I'm pretty sure I did the 444 for me. So, Billy, again, it may be different for you, but just look around, pay attention to what's happening when you see 444. I can always tell when I'm vibrating higher, first of all, because the synchronicity, such as the numbers, appear even more. My eyes and ears being automatically drawn to shit appears more. You ever just sat in your car and a song comes on the radio and it's speaking directly to you? You ever had that happen? When those synchronicities increase, you can just feel it. You can feel it, and you feel your oneness with everything. Sometimes you even feel your oneness with the birds. Like you'll literally talk with the birds and the animals. Say like there'll be a bird come perch next to you on the bench or something, and you don't really want it that close to you. You'll say, can you please move? And it's as if it looks at you and just flutters off. It's a weird, and again, you sound crazy when you're talking to people who have never had this experience. But I know if you're listening to me now, you've either had this experience, something close to it, or you're about to. One or the other. Because frequency and vibration does not lie. You understand? And so I feel confident that I can say this with security. And know that I'm amongst like-minded people, that you can actually speak with the animals. You can speak and they speak back. Like the whole world is alive in a sense. It's crazy. It really is. Naughty Xavier says, right now I am seeing 144 everywhere all the time. Naughty, that's a very interesting number. You see in the scripture it was 144,000 who were set apart. So that's a very interesting number, 144,000. And I want you to understand that books like the Bible and other sacred texts are also built off of these numbers. They all mean something. And it looks like JC's number here, which is 1414. Wow. Jamie Staten says 9/11. Vera Rochelle says, I think passion is developed during trying things. Yes, Vera, some of our most prized virtues, some of our best unfoldments happen under pressure. And that's why I try to tell people that a lot of things in your life, even when you're going through it, you don't see how it's evolving and unfolding you. But a lot of times it takes years later and you look back on it and realize, had you not gone through that, you wouldn't know a certain thing. T. Baba El Gata, thank you for subscribing to the channel. You wouldn't be the person you are without these certain experiences. So things don't happen to you. They literally happen for you, if but we had the eyes to see. And life becomes so much easier when you think from an eternal perspective. When you begin to see this one life as a day. Like the scripture says that one day with the Lord is like 1,000 days. When you begin to see this one life as just a day, as in when you die, you equate that to going asleep. And you wake up again, and then there's another lifetime, which is just another day in your eternal life. You understand what I'm saying? And so, like I always tell people, we are like cosmic babies right now. Babies don't remember yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like they're conscious, but they don't remember yesterday. They live in the perpetual now up until they reach a certain age. And then when they reach a certain age, say 3 or 4, then they start to have a memory bank wherein they can store their memory of yesterday. And so they can build up a concurrent identity of themselves. And so as cosmic babies right now, we don't have a memory bank. I submit to you the idea that those listening to me right now at the sound of my voice, that you are building yourself a memory bank. And after this life, you will begin to remember all of your subsequent lives. And then you can begin to formulate a cosmic identity, your cosmic identity or ego. That's what you're in the process of building right now. This is why you're gathering all these new pieces of information. It's essential. What you're doing is you're feeding that seed, and that seed will become your cosmic identity after its birth. But you got to feed it. So you're getting knowledge here and there. You're getting information, wisdom, little pieces of data, of secret, just all kinds of information, and it's going to build up your cosmic identity. Because when you drop the mic, when you drop the micro, then your consciousness will then be transferred onto your cosmic ego, and you will operate in that ego, which is being built up above, in the above realm. Remember, there's an above realm and a below realm. Okay, I believe, I'm not talking to those who are building up their ego in the below realm. Those are usually like the nature boy type of people. Okay. They and I'm not going to get too far into that, but they're building up an ego. They're building up a spiritual body, but it's for a realm lower, a realm that is controlled by animal lust and animal listic type things. I'm not talking to them people. Okay. I'm talking to y'all. And I understand that y'all are building up a klipot. It's called the klipot. Klipot in Kabbalah, in Jewish mysticism, is what you're building up. It's like a suit. You know, you have this here flesh suit to operate in this realm, where you're literally building up a suit in another realm. You understand? And when you drop the micro, remember me showing you the picture of the wheels? They had the wheel with the man at the top, and then they had the zodiac wheel with the sun in the middle. Okay? Well, you're building up a whole new wheel. Okay? Because you are the wheel of God. You're one of the wheels, one of the many wheels. You're also one of the eyes of God. An eye through which God perceives himself, herself, itself. You understand? And so Ezekiel says, I seen a wheel with eyes all around it. Wheels within wheels. And it's time to drop the mic. And you will soon. You will. Anyway. Antoine says, the more I try to find enlightenment, the more this number has come up. Antoine, I want to tell you, stop trying. Stop trying. Because what you're doing is you're squeezing the pipes. Think about, there's a pipe running from, let's just imagine above, okay? Above is actually deeper within. It's what it really, really is. But according to our perception, it's above. So imagine there's a golden pipe coming from above all the way into, say, like your solar plexus area, okay? Which is right by your diaphragm here, okay? When you try, you literally squeeze the pipe. That's why I say, you got to be still, relax, lead your soul beside still waters. Just rest. Okay? See, say in the scriptures, the first time you see grace means unmerited favor. Okay? That means you get something that you didn't even have to work to get. So when you try, you frustrate the grace of God, or the grace of the universe, the grace of the being that controls all of this. You understand? And so when you relax and not try, then grace can actually operate. Because trying denotes that you are working. And working means you earned it. And it is not something that you can earn. It is the unearned favor. It only happens when you stop trying, literally. And so you see Buddhist monks spend years on top of years just trying not to try. You feel what I'm saying? So don't try. Just know, as a man thinketh, it is done unto him. As you believeth in your heart, so it is. Hmm? And so you believe and know that you have enlightenment. Now, if you believe long enough, your belief will give way to knowledge. But you got to crawl for your walk. See, people try to throw away belief like belief is bad. But understand, belief is like crawling. You got to crawl before you walk, which is you got to believe before you ever know. And so you just believe. You keep affirming that to yourself, that you are enlightened, that you have everything that you need right now, that you know all that there is to know. And you keep believing that until you actually know it, until it gives way from being a belief to an actual knowledge. And watch what I tell you. Enlightenment will bust in on you when you least expect it. It's a formula. Don't try. Just relax. Enjoy. Copperman says, Billy thought I was the only one. Girlbar says, yes, Jamie, me too. And see, this is why I'm having this conversation. Because, see, shit like this, they don't talk about it that much. Even within the conscious community. We talking about eating ice cream off a bitch ass and all kind of shit like that right now. Nobody worried about real consciousness. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't give a fuck about none of that stupid shit. You understand what I'm saying? This shit is literally what makes my heart beat. Literally. And for me, at that time, there was no one to really talk to. The only one I had was my sister, who wouldn't look at me like I was fucking Looney Tunes. You understand? Because she was already on it, her. So when I told her some of the things I told her, she didn't look at me like I was crazy and try to hurry up and rush me off to the crazy hospital. You understand? But for most people, they don't have anybody that they can talk to about these things to understand that they are not alone, that they are not actually crazy. You're not losing your mind, honey. You're going through a cosmic process now that not everybody goes through. You understand? You have to be chosen. Grasp that shit. You have to be chosen. Again, you can make your mind, your body, and your environment conducive for it, but you cannot make it happen. Period. It's by grace. It's by chosen. What else? Queen Sheba. Peace, Queen Sheba. Shelly Shell says art and colors. So you see it through art and colors. It's literally everywhere, y'all. Cammy says, hi, Crystal. I love your videos. Oh, thank you. Miss Disco B Trucking. You want me to sing? What do you want me to sing? Let me see. I don't even know. I can't even think of a song right now. I don't really sing anyway. Not really. Sing 2222. Natay Jones says, I saw 2222 on the license plate. Have the people in the TV ever talked to you? Now, I know that sounds crazy than a motherfucker, but I guarantee you somebody on this motherfucker can relate. You might not actually say it in the comments section, because that's a little out there, but have the people in the TV ever talked to you? Like, there was a movie about that. It's almost like Wreck-It Ralph. Like, when the humans go to sleep, the people in the TV have a life of their own. Like, it's And so when you run into things like that, you begin to see that a lot of the people in the crazy house being diagnosed with schizophrenia and things like that, maybe, just maybe there's something deeper there. I read an article once where a shaman who was part of a tribe said that he visited the states. He visited civilization, and somehow upon their journeys they ended up going to a psych hospital, and he said that he realized in that moment that we over here in the States were crazy. He said because we put all of our best spiritual, what could be potential spiritual leaders, people connected to the spiritual realm, in the crazy hospital. And I truly believe that. JC says numbers numb the errors. That's nice. Wanda Denise says, truth is, by the time we figure out how to live, it's time to die. Wanda, Queen, I want you to note that you brought about a very important point. By the time we figure out how to live, it is time to die. And that is the point. What is the point of living? The point of living is living. There is no right way to live. There is no right way to live. And so, like Wanda says, we're spending all this time trying to figure out how to live instead of just living. Instead of just living. And that's the thing I see more so now than ever. And it's really sad. So we're spending more time on the internet, more time on YouTube and Facebook and things like this than with people in their actual life. There's no skin-to-skin contact, no actual mouth-to-mouth communication, hardly anymore. And so y'all notice I've been MIA for a few weeks or so. And I've been basically getting my mind right. Because see, the thing is, we are all like a boat. Roll, roll, roll your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. We're all like a boat rowing through the streams of time, the streams of eternity. And see, when the storm on the outside of the boat starts to get on the inside of the boat begins to sink. And so, see me, when I notice that shit in this YouTube world, shit on the internet, shit on the news started to get inside of my very being and sink my vibrations. I had to pull back. Fuck that. Y'all know what I've been doing the last couple of weeks? Listening to wind chimes and seas and reading books. I've been leading my mind and my soul beside still waters. You understand? That's what I've been doing. I've been being still so I can further cement myself in the universe, in God, in the spirit. You understand what I'm saying? Reconnect. Strengthening my good virtues, strengthening the peace and the joy within me, getting back to the simpler things in life, enjoying just spending time with my children, talking with them, getting to know them more. You understand? That's what I've been doing. I ain't been worrying about none of that extra shit. Very good point, Miss Denise. Antoine Westbrook says, please help me with this. With what, Antoine? Shell says, I need to stop allowing myself to become distracted. Something TGAT, that's clearly an acronym for something. Something is why I'm not hearing. So you think distractions is what's disallowing you from hearing. Shelly. And that may be it, Maybe you need to do, Shelly, try some meditation techniques. Literally get yourself in a comfortable position, even laying down. You always see them sitting up in Indian style, but when I would meditate, I would lay down because I found it was easier for me to relax that way. Otherwise, I was constantly shifting this and that and the other. And so laying down worked just perfectly fine for me. So you could try that. Lay down and try to focus your mind on one idea. Or even just a word. Like pick a word like, love. And just meditate on that one word. You just got to train your mind to focus and be still. Thank you, Vera. Thank you for the donation, sis. I appreciate the support. Angel, also known as LaShawn, says there are so many things that can keep me up all night. I love working with my hands, making things. Well, then you have a lot of passions, Angel. And some passions, if you're like Angel and you have many passions like that, then like she said, she loves working with her hands. So maybe the overall arching passion is working with your hands. So figure out how you can not only bring joy to yourself, but give something to the world. Leave something that helps evolve the world, that helps unfold the world, or even just something as simple as leaving a breadcrumb. You understand? Sometimes all we have to do is just leave a breadcrumb for somebody to follow. You know what I'm saying? And that may be the person that opens the world up to its possibilities, that solves the problem of cancer, or who knows. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you do, just do it to the Lord, as they say. And again, by Lord, I mean the oversoul here. The oversoul, of whom all of us are members of its body. He, she, its body. You understand? All of us are part and parcel with this oversoul, as the cells are to us in our body. Whatever you do, and it can never be wrong. Soul philosophy says, I think we all go through that process of being hungry for knowledge, but we have to peep game. Yes, we do, soul philosophy. All of us. It's literally part of the process. It's literally part of the process. You're dead, and then you go, you're not dead anymore, but you're not quite living yet. It's literally, it's the mid place. You're not, it's like the wilderness, as we've seen in the scripture, where the children of Israel, they left out of Egypt, but they hadn't quite made it to the promised land. They were in the wilderness wandering for 40 years, or it was even longer than that. Maybe it was 400 years. I can't remember, but they was in there a long time, so long that one whole generation died out. And so to us, again, Adam is within you, Eve is within you, Noah is within you. All of these characters are within you. And so on this journey of ascension, where you're going from where you're at now to the upper realm, the upper room, the upper level, you understand, heaven, whatever you want to call it, you have to go through that in-between place where you're not where you used to be, but you're not exactly where you want to be neither. The thing is, you don't want to wander out there for hundreds and hundreds of fucking years. You feel what I'm saying? For hundreds and hundreds of years. And so we get caught out there whenever we do, just like the children of Israel, we become ungrateful. You understand? We start murmuring and just not enjoying the process. We become so lustful for results. We get down on ourselves because we haven't got there yet, or all kinds of different negativity basically comes in and thwarts the process. When if we just relax, we'll be carried away as if on a stream. You understand? Just relax. And remember not to think more of ourselves than what we actually are. So when we come to the realization that we are connected with God, we are one with God, and even when you come into some of your powers and you realize you can do certain things according to the laws of this nature that some may call witchcraft or sorcery or divination or devil worship or whatever these religious fanatics call it, the fact is that there is a science that is a deeper science than the science that we generally know. We call it magic because it's unknown, but once it's simply just high science. It's learning how to work the elements, learning how to work the spiritual nature of this world to produce a result. In the same way we do the lesser laws like physics, the law of gravity. What goes up must come down. There are more subtle laws that we can use in order to bring about our desired results. You understand? But it's only when we relax, be still, and rest. The Christians call it resting in the finished work of Christ. That's what they call it. Now, if you're a religious person, you'll think of it totally different than in the way I'm saying it. But what you're really doing is resting in the finished work of wisdom. The foundation is already laid for you. And it is only our simple act of trying which disallows us from getting it. In the same way that as you look for your keys, you'll never find them. Only when you stop looking will you find them. When you're searching for love, love eludes you. It's only when you decide, I'll do good by myself, when Mr. Right and Mrs. Right comes along. It's the same thing here. Hey. Billy Frances said, love when A likes build. Me too. C Dot. C Dot says, thanks for the support, C Dot. It is appreciated. C Dot says, don't forget that the earth is flat, not a spinning ball. I agree, C Dot. I believe that it's a toroidal field. I actually believe it's spherical and it's flat. The spherical portion is the energetic, the flow of the energy, the toroidal field. But the actual plane itself is flat, indeed. So I believe there's a unity within the duality, as with all things. As in, I am human, but yet I am also God. Mark G says, thankful for your presence. I'm thankful for yours, Mark G, and all the rest of you. Soul Philosophy says, 360 degrees of knowledge. It's like you go around up and down looking for information. Then you come right back to the beginning, but you are able to see it in a different way. Very, very good, Soul Philosophy. I love the way you put that. And that is 100% correct. It's just like a spiral. You end up back at the same place, but now you perceive it and understand it on a deeper level. So even as it relates to religion, as you go through the process of ascension, you may come back to the same religion that you left, as you see is the case with me. I speak a lot from the scriptures, but grasp that the way I say it and what I mean is not the same way I meant it 10 years ago. You understand? So I understand what is being said there, and I don't get trapped up in the idea of idolizing any human man above myself. Now I understand the oversoul. Okay? But it's a total different understanding. There's the God energy. L Law, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that, y'all. I really, really do. Because if you know, there's a lot of time goes into this. And a lot of energy. Ruby Rose, peace, peace. Good to see you too. Oh yeah, my personal story. Okay, so let me get to that. See, for me, this is how it happened. So I was just living like normal life, right? Doing like normal life shit. And then suddenly, out of nowhere almost, I was in a despondent place in my life. I was, let me see, I'm 36 now. So I was like 27, 28, somewhere in there. And I was in a very despondent place in my life. I mean, things were great in my life. I was making money, you know what I mean? I had just had my twins. Life was good, like on the outside, but I felt a dryness. Like I felt very dry and empty. Like I should be happy, but I'm not, right? And so I carried on for a while in this dry space. And then one day I was laying in my bed and I remember the TV came on. Now, the TV came on out of nowhere, literally. Like, just came on. So I thought maybe I had like the timer set or some shit. I don't know. But it just came on. And when it came on, it was Joel Osteen on the TV. Now, I don't remember exactly what he said. But that thing happened where like my ears kind of like zoned into that. Okay. And whatever he said in that moment, it was as if somebody somewhere knew me and knew what was going on in my life and was talking to me through his words, like they were using his body and his mouth as a vessel to get this message to me. And I know y'all have had that shit happen. I know you've had it where somebody was talking and it seemed as though they was talking directly to you, right? Hold on, y'all. Let me put some background music with this. I don't know why. I just feel like this here story's got to have some background music. Y'all know I'm one for a good cinematic effect. Oh, goodness. Bear with me, you guys. All right. There we go. Okay. So anyway, so I felt like at that moment, I felt like that Joel Osteen was talking directly to me, right? And that's literally the moment where I remember things like took off from there. After that, I was insatiable. I began to read the Bible. It's as if I was searching for something. I became very aware of my emptiness. And I began to search and search. I mean, I would be up all night long. And I was just searching. And I would pray and meditate. Right? But the night before, I had what I call my cosmic consciousness experience. I was laying in the bed, and I remember thinking, I'm so tired. I just felt so tired. It felt like I was being driven, and I couldn't stop. And I remember deciding in my mind that night that I would just stop. And I went to sleep with that thought on my mind. And when I woke up the next morning, I got up and I went to the coffee pot. And I put put my coffee stuff together. And out of nowhere, y'all, out of nowhere, suddenly it felt like my being, my spirit, my essence was snatched right out of my body. And so I ended up where I seen two different pictures. Like I could see my living room. I was still in my house, but yet it's as if my being was flying through the sky. And I seen an earth. It looked like earth, but it was brighter. Like the colors popped. Okay? And it wasn't a ball. It was just like it was a toroidal field. And I knew instinctively that it was another earth, as if to say there was going to be some type of separations. It looked just like earth, but brighter. And I remember at that time, I began to get a lot of information about how the universe worked, about, well, I'm not going to get into that, but when I would feel sad, then suddenly it would get dark. And then when I would cry, it would rain. It would literally rain. It was the weirdest and most profound experience of my life. It felt as though in the same way that I beat my heart, in the same way that my eyes blink, I made the sun rise. I caused the tides to happen. I felt like I was one with the entire universe. I felt like the universe was my body. And this whole time, it was almost as like I fell out in laughter, in complete laughter. It was so heavy on me, I literally couldn't stand. I was bent over. And I just kept crying because it was a joy that you couldn't explain. I felt like everything was perfect. Everything was balanced. Everything was complete right now in this moment. That nothing could ever be imperfect. I felt the whole entire Jesus story unfolding in my life. And I felt, and I could say as Jesus said, that I and my Father are one. I looked at everything with different eyes. I looked at people and I could see God in there. I could see me in there. I looked in the eyes of my children and I didn't see my children anymore. I seen the infinite. And everything was perfect. My body, it's like as if I tricked myself into believing that I was only that person on one side of the skin. And in that one moment, I was I felt as though I was the person on both sides of the skin. And then everything that I had learned in church, everything that I had learned about the character named Jesus applied to me. And I was tempted to say that I am Jesus. But I dug a little bit deeper. And through my research, I've come to find out that the experience has been happening all along. Throughout all of eternity, this experience has happened to people. And it's simply just an experience that shows you the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth of what is here. That is, just as an apple tree produces apples, so too the universe produces people from itself. And so I came to the realization that I didn't come here from without. I came here from within. And I build up a better appreciation for my world, for people. You know, nowadays they want to hug trees and hug the animals, but we're so vicious and mean to each other. But that's not the way I seen it. That's not the way I see things. When I look at people, even the vilest of the vile, the lowest of the low, I still can't help but see God. Now, does that mean that I love everything that everybody does? No. In my ego self, I can't. But I can still love and respect people for the God that I know, that I can clearly see is within them. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you know it, you can't unknow it. Once you are it, you can't unbe it. And then I realized that this is what every religion of the world has been trying to say. Though the irony here is that religion a lot of times will keep you from the supreme experience. And even if you had it, you're liable to think that it was demons or something. The very thing that was designed by well-meaning men and women to give you a sense of the sublime experience is the very thing that causes you not to have it. Oh, the irony. Yeah. And that's my story. Like I say, now I live in like a little magical world. A literal magical world. Yeah. Check some of these comments out. I thank y'all so much for sharing y'all time with me. Maylene Kane says, I wonder what people think. Would you classify self as an essentialist or an existentialist? I hope I said that right. I say both, Maylene. I find that there's usually a dualism within a unity here. We're usually both. Victoria says, I love when we see crystal vibes. Blessed for the thoughts. I love seeing y'all as well. Deidre Sekud says, sorry if I mispronounced that. Time is an illusion and there's no coincidence that we are here. We were told to come. Thank you, beloved, for your time. You're most welcome, Deidre. You're most welcome. Oh, Staten. It's Jamie Staten. Sorry, Jamie. I wish I knew your name. Kafati Quantamati Fraud. What's your name, sis? What can I call you? Because I can never pronounce that. Kafati Quantamati Fraud. And I want to address you properly. Y'all check out her channel. She's got good information. I love watching your channel. Copperman says the great falling away. Yes, there is a great falling away happening right now. Real Rochelle says life looks better on the other side in that state, sometimes leading to suicide. Yes, and that's just a trick. It really is. And this is the qualms I have with the so-called conscious community right now. You know, religion, I don't like religion. But I feel like we have replaced religion with a worse religion. At least in the Christian church and all, Islam and things like that, there wasn't such hatred as we see now. You know, with the conscious community, like I said, you see now they make videos about people's children. The children is ugly and fuck your children. I hope they die and all kind of stupid fuck shit. And so for me, it seems like my mama used to say, it seemed like we've jumped out of the pot right into the skillet. And so it leads me to ask the question, what is the purpose of these people's form of consciousness? Again, I've already expressed to y'all what I consider to be conscious, to be woke. If you don't understand that I am you and you are me and we are all part of the same body, we are all members of the same body, and we are all equally important. I don't have to do what you do. You don't have to do what I do. Just do you. But whatever you are doing, it's just as important as what I am doing. If your type of consciousness don't lead you to that, then what is the purpose of it? Can somebody please tell me? What is the purpose of this consciousness that says, fuck the old people, we can kick the cane down and make them fall? They didn't leave us shit, they didn't do shit for us. What's the purpose of this consciousness that talks about people's children and calls children's demons and say your baby is ugly? Fuck your baby. I don't care if you roll over on your baby and kill it and fuck shit like that. What is the point? What is the point of that form of consciousness? Y'all want me to tell y'all something honestly that a lot of y'all probably not gonna want to hear? But I had rather people stayed in the Christian church because at least they tried to put on a good face. Nowadays it's just, it's do whatever and we supposed to just accept this shit. I'm sorry. I can't. I'd rather the form of the Christian church with its hypocrisy than the type of hypocrisy I'm seeing now. At least you'll never catch the preacher in the pulpit talking about, I hope you roll on your baby tonight and your baby die, bitch. Fuck you. You understand what I'm telling you? I feel like fuck your knowledge if you don't have no kind of righteousness. So what's the point of this new conscious shit? Where does it get you? What does it do for you? This conscious shit been around now. What has it done? The hell has it done? Can somebody tell me? Yeah. Anyway, let me cut this here music off. Anyway, what has this consciousness done? Can somebody please tell me? Because, you know, I don't get out much, so maybe some shit I'm missing as to what good has this caused the world. Maria, peace, Maria. Maria coming from the jungles of Hawaii. Thank you for sharing your time and your energy with the family, sis. DD Lightful, thank you for tuning in. Juanita Rogers, thank you for donating, sis. I appreciate that, y'all. Y'all just don't know. Yes, this takes a lot of time. And you know, one thing I noticed is that people will, you know, say like take for instance, like when I was going to try to stay away from this here subject, but I'm going to talk about it any fucking way. When I seen Ashe Divine's video, I don't know if y'all seen it yet. I don't suggest you do so. But I'm going to tell you, when I first seen her video where she was talking about how, you know, she makes so much more money doing that adult entertainment shit, I really felt sad. I felt sad in my spirit at the time, because the way she was saying it, or the way I perceived her saying it anyway, was as if talking conscious shit wasn't getting her anywhere. As if, you know, displaying your body gets you more and gets you more quicker than displaying your thoughts and your mind. And, you know, it kind of made me sad a little bit in myself, because I understand and I know for a fact that people will pay more for frivolous shit than to actually receive some type of consolation for their mind. And it saddened me that you know, what could have, in my mind, and again, this is just my perception and my opinion, we're each entitled to it, what could have been a potential powerful example, a powerful leader for the melanated sisters and brothers and non-melanated alike, and someone to be a good disseminator of good information, good knowledge, and good wisdom that could be a breadcrumb for somebody along their way. That because it is not lucrative, because people do not value their spiritual and mental health in the same way that they value entertainment, in the same way that they value their bodily health, that one has to give up the practice of disseminating wisdom amongst the people in order to secure the bag. You know, and it's sad that you can't disseminate good information amongst the people. Thank you, Jazzy. Thank you, Queen, for supporting the platform and the content. It is greatly appreciated. It's a shame that you can't disseminate wisdom and good sound knowledge and good sound common sense that consequently is not so common anymore, and still have your bills paid. You understand? But you could be a singer and do that and make hundreds and hundreds of dollars. You could be an ass shaker and have your bills paid, and can pay your sister's bills off of what you make from shaking your ass. You understand? But when you are a disseminator of wisdom, you got to get another job. You got to shake and jive. You got to throw in a little low vibrational shit in order to get some type of you understand what I'm saying? And it's a very sad condition and state of man and the state of humanity when you see that is indeed the truth, that people will pay for a football game, will pay for nails and hair and more for a fucking meal at McDonald's than they will in order to get some wisdom, to gain a jewel that unlocks a portion of their self that's been locked up. You understand? To get a key that will unlock the mind of their husband, unlock the mind of their children, and allow them to communicate effectively. To get a key that will drive away the hopelessness in their life and invigorate them to reach for their dreams, invigorate them to go a little bit longer. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that's a very sad, sad thing, but it is indeed the truth. It's indeed the truth. You know, I could put in a lot more work, and I have desired to put in a lot more work, but at the same time, though, you understand that people don't really value their mental and spiritual health as much as they do their bodily health. Because a lot of people don't understand that their bodily health is directly related to their mental and spiritual health. You know, if you're spiritually healthy, you could have a broke down body and still maintain. But if your body is completely healthy, but you're spiritually broke down, all is lost. Facts. Now let me read these comments. I'm going to say again, I thank y'all for tuning in and sharing your time with me. Just Maxine is in the house. Peace, peace. Omika Pleasant says, God is everything and everywhere at the same time. Exactly, Omika. Just like the scripture says, if you cut open a log, he's there. If you go into the deepest hells, he's there. The highest heaven, he's there. There's nothing that can separate you from the love of Christ. If you understand what Christ truly is. Soul Philosophy says, which is our purpose? To live and have experiences. The purpose of life is life. Exactly, Soul Philosophy. And so, you know, we enjoy life better when we learn to let go. If you can fully embrace and accept the fact that everything lives and everything dies, there is a breathing in and a breathing out. The whole cosmos, a breathing in and a breathing out. And so the birth of a baby is a breathing in, and the death of a being is a breathing out. And if we can learn to accept that just as much as we accept the thunderstorms with the sunshiny days, then life will seem a little less hard for us. Not only that, but we can appreciate the moments if we just accept and grasp the idea that the next moment with this person or that person in this situation is not promised to us. And learn to live in the now. Learn to embrace every moment. As I always say, when we eat food, actually taste the taste. Don't just scarf it down. Understand what you are eating. Understand that something had to die in order for you to have that meal, even if it's just fruits, even if it's vegetables. Something that has a spirit, a consciousness, albeit a lesser consciousness, had to sacrifice its life for you to live on. And in like manner, you will do the same when it is your turn. Your body will go to nourish the earth from whence it came. And life becomes sacred. The act of breathing is sacred. The act of eating is sacred. The act of love making is sacred. The act of drinking is sacred. A lot of us don't realize, do you realize that the water that you drink is the same water that was here 1,000,000 years ago? Do you realize that? Do you realize that what's in a cup of water, some of the great beings, some of the great characters and egos that have graced the planet Earth have drunk the very same water, potentially, that is in your glass? We don't think about that when we drink, though. We don't think about that. Let me check these comments. Juanita Rogers, thank you. Thank you for donating, sis. It is appreciated. Ruby Rose put chakras in a question mark. What about the chakras, Ruby? Chakra centers are, they're centers of energy. They're psychic centers that are laid throughout your energetic body. Your energetic body is a copy, or it's really the source. Your physical body is a carbon copy, 666, is a carbon copy of your spiritual body. Your spiritual body is made of matter, just like your physical body. But your spiritual body is made of a finer, more subtler material. Okay? And so a lot of times people have done astral travel, astral projection, out-of-body experiences. You realize you still have legs, you still have arms. Your body looks like your body, but it is of a finer ethereal material. Okay? And so within that spirit body, you have psychic centers, chakras. Okay, and so you read about in the book of Revelation, it talk about who is worthy to unseal the seven seals. Understand that those are your chakras. And then when the seals are unsealed, that allows the kundalini energy, which sits at the base of your spine, to rise up through the psychic centers and reach your optic thalamus and light the lamp of your body, in which the scripture says that if your eye, not eyes, if your eye, aka the optic thalamus, hence optic, okay, the optic thalamus, if thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. You light up the optic thalamus, and it pretty much cuts on the circuitry of the midbrain, okay, where in which you get to the land flowing with milk and honey. The pituitary gland secretes the honey, a yellow substance, can be likened to and corresponds to the sun, which secretes a yellow substance we call light. The excuse me, the pineal gland secretes the yellow substance which corresponds to the sun. The pituitary gland then secretes a milky substance, okay, that can be likened to the moonlight. And so there you have made it to the land flowing with the milk and honey. Then synchronicities began to happen. There's the Christos oil that must return, okay? And you released one of these seeds every month. Okay, I have a video about that. It's called I don't know, Christmas Saint Claus and the Christos oil or something. You'll see it. It's on my line. It's got a picture of Santa Claus and then something else on the side of it. I think the Kundalini energy, the Kundalini serpent up somebody's spine. That's the thumbnail picture. You'll see it. And in that video, I tell you how to know when that sacred seed is being released. And the more of those seeds that get returned back, the more what happens is the cells in your brain, the ones that were lying dormant, come alive. Okay, and so instead of using 10% of your brain, you use more and more and more as you continues to return these seeds every month. Now you can burn up the seed, okay, at the root chakra with unbridled lust, gluttony, all of the said 7 or however many deadly sins there were. Any of those can burn up the oil and disallow the seed from returning. But every time you return the seed, some dormant brain cells come alive. And this is where what we see symbolically represented in the Jesus story when Jesus came out of hell, okay, the root chakra where the Kundalini fire is. It says he brought saints with him. And so you've seen that those who were asleep, as the scripture says, were now alive. Okay, and so this is equivalent to the dormant brain cells being infused with energy and brought back alive. And so in the movie Lucy, you see that she was able to basically go back to the beginning of time. And in like manner, this is what happens. This is what happened biologically, okay? This is something that happens, like it says, the kingdom of heaven comes not with observation, meaning that nobody outside of you will be able to see this happening. It's something that happens in the spirit portion of yourself, okay? But there is a biological explanation. There is a biological occurrence that happens that allows this to happen. You understand? Yeah. So anyway, let me read these comments. We got BE's or BS says Metatron's grid shows that. Yeah, if y'all look at these sci-fi movies will show you a lot of the secrets of the universe, but it's written in code. But if you can understand it, you can really understand how this overall reality works. And so you will understand that everything is a ritual here. Anytime that you see a halftime game at a football, even the football game itself is another form of ritual. All of these Grammy shows, a form of ritual. Television shows, a form of ritual. Movies, a form of ritual. So they're either forms of of ritual, or they're explaining the magical side of this world. The thing is that there are those who know how to work magic, which is simply using the subtle laws of this universe in order to bring about a result. And there are those who don't know. They meticulously keep majority of the population out of the know. You understand? Because it gets kind of chaotic when everybody is doing magic, as you've seen on the Doctor Strange, at the end of Doctor Strange's movie. But anyway, if you are inclined to magical kind of shit, what they call sorcery. Sorcery is simply you getting in contact with the source and becoming one with the source and being able to manipulate this reality, operating under the name of Jesus, as they say, which is basically operating in your God self, in your God body, your spirit body, and able to change the course of nature. They call it sorcery, but again, they tell you stay away from that, because they don't want you to be able to do these things. You understand what I'm saying? Again, it becomes chaotic, and it becomes more difficult for you to control people. Anyway, Prince Ruby says all the time, predictive programming everywhere. Yes. Tippy Toe says, thank you, Crystal, for sharing your time. No problem. I try to squeeze in time for you guys whenever I can. I really hate when I have to spend a long while away without dropping something in your lap. But at the same time, I try to balance that between only making appearances when it's necessary for me too. You know, I don't want to just be on here talking needlessly. Callie Shaw says, we are all equipped with everything that pertains to life and godliness, but we have to continuously fight ourselves to stay humble as well as balanced in what has been afforded to us. Yes, very good, Callie Shaw. I love the way you stated that. That is absolutely correct. But you know, I heard something once before that stuck with me, and I want to share it with you guys. It says something like this: life is like riding a bicycle, that the only way to maintain balance is to keep going. And I really, really like that. I'm going to say that again. Life is like a bicycle. The only way to maintain balance is to just keep going. And I've used that a lot in my life, because a lot of times you wanna stop, and you wanna assess the situation, and you wanna check your progress, and you just, you see what I'm saying? But especially during the rough patches in life, because don't think that being conscious and being woke takes away the negative side of life. It does not. You can't have the yin without the yang. They go hand in hand. You cannot have the front of a piece of paper without also having its back. You understand? And so being conscious and woke does not take away all of your trials and tribulations. However, it does give you a superior insight into those trials and tribulations, which lessens the sting. You understand? As the scripture says, death is still there, but death, oh death, where is thou sting? You understand what I'm saying? So your trials and tribulations are still there, but they're not, they don't feel like they felt, because you look at them differently. So we must remember to keep going, endure. You understand? Just endure and enjoy what you can enjoy. Try to allow the feelings to go through you as you would a thunderstorm. You don't try to stop a thunderstorm. You just allow that shit to do what it's got to do. And in the same way, a lot of times, most of our quote unquote negative feelings, we should just allow them to pass through us, instead of trying to suppress them and trying to do things. Just let them float on by. Watch them. You know what I'm saying? And embrace that as well. Embrace the sad days just as much as the happy days. And just be grateful that you are allowed to feel. If anybody's ever been on any depression medication and different other things, other type of drugs and substances will cause this in you. But if you've ever been on depression medication and you've had it to where it takes away all of your feelings, Again, most of y'all know that I'm a nurse, and a lot of times that's most people's biggest complaint with depression medications is it took away the depression, but it also took away the joy. It like took away every fucking thing. And I said all that to say this, that just be grateful that you can feel, sad. Hmm? As much as that you can feel happiness. Foster an attitude of gratitude. And Callie Shaw is exactly correct. We are equipped with everything. You're equipped with everything that you need for life. And whatever you don't have, or you perceive that you don't have, it can be given to you if you but ask and trust that it will be given to you. This is a fact. If the synchronicities and the subtle secrets of the universe and the magic that you see being done all around you does not hint to you and does not persuade you to understand that there's a deeper reality here, then I don't know what will. But once you come to the realization that there's a deeper reality here, then you should know that there are certain things that you have the power within yourself to do. So it should not be such a foreign and strange idea to say that there are entities and or a entity out there that will lead you into all truth if you but ask. He who lacks wisdom asketh of the Lord, who giveth liberally and upbraideth not. Okay, so there's not a white Jesus that came 2,000 years ago. But do you agree that there is an oversoul that is directing everything here? And if you can agree to that, then ask of the oversoul, who giveth liberally and upbraideth not. How stupid would it be for one of yourselves to believe it has a superior consciousness and you don't, as the oversoul of the body? If you, as the oversoul, has consciousness and awareness, then your cells do too. And in like manner, the soul that is over you, as the Russian dolls, like we spoke about earlier, is conscious and is aware. Infinitely more conscious and more aware than you. You have no idea what that being is capable of doing. Just try. Lion Lock says, yes, sometimes you have to go down or up to people level. Yeah, Lion Locks, I do that quite a bit. I go down quite a bit. If you look on my page, I have a lot of low vibrational shit. And people don't understand why. People really don't grasp why, but you got to understand that there's strategy. It's called wisdom. A lot of people are ready to climb up the evolutionary ladder, to climb up the ladder of critical thinking, of from belief to knowing, but they don't even know that they are. You understand what I'm saying? And so it's the same tactic. You realize there's two types of beings here. There are beings who pretend that they're conscious only to slowly introduce you into low vibrational shit. Such as people like Nature Boy. And unfortunately, what I have seen from, like I said, with Assay Divine and different people like that who seem to be conscious, but once you're in there with them, then come introduce some low vibrational shit. You see what I'm saying? I happen to be somewhat of a different kind of being. Most people come to my channel on some low vibrational shit, some peep game shit from Nature Boy episodes. But then, slowly, you get introduced to some conscious shit. You get a jewel dropped in your lap here and there. So you'll notice there's two types of beings here. Generally, in this internet world. Those who are low, or appear to be low, but subtly bring you higher, and those who seem to be high, but subtly drop you lower. Yeah. Read these comments. Chantal Corleone, that's a beautiful name. Chantal Corleone says, I was laying in my bed the other day, And there was an energy that resembled an umbilical cord coming from my body, going up through the ceiling. It was like 1 foot long, circling around, greenish purple. Well, they called that the golden thread, Chantal. The golden thread. People who have eyes to see. People who have their first eye open to the capacity to where they can see auric fields and subtle energy, have seen when people die or pass away, per se, that thread has been cut. You understand? So what you're basically seeing is, again, like I said, we are all cosmic babies. And so what you're seeing is your cosmic umbilical cord. That thing that allows you to get nourishment from your mother, father. Facts. Clever Stranger says, you always have a word. I try not to show up unless I do. Wanda Denise says, I relate fully. I'm glad. I like to be around like-minded people. Just Maxine says she's feeling some type of way because she's listening to you. Who, Just Maxine? Maybe I missed that comment. Just Maxine says, so I need to move on. I'm not sure what you were talking about there, honey. Let's see. BE says, go ahead, Crystal. Tell me. I know it makes me spiritually high. Wow, I would love to experience that. Oh, that must be when the time where I was talking about what I had went through. Well, I'm here to tell y'all, it was scary at first, but I've always been one of those people who believed in the power of God over the power of Satan. Even before I knew, even before I conceived of God and Satan in the way I do now, back when I actually believed it in a more literal kind of way, I always believed more so in the power of God than the power of the devil. So I never felt any sense of fear at any point in time. You know what I mean? Like that's just how God was presented to me, as a real, live, loving God. Not the kind that's just sitting around waiting for you to fuck up so he can condemn you to hell. You understand what I'm saying? God was always relayed to me, and I always conceived of God or the higher self or the universe or the oversoul as a loving being who would never ever let anything happen to me. And so I took the scripture literally that says that no one can snatch you out of my hand. So I felt no matter what I was going through, that I was going to be okay. So even as scary as it was, I still had this overall sense of peace. And even to now, as weird shit happens, because weird shit still happens to me that I'm not quite prepared for. You understand what I'm saying? That takes me into the deeper corridors of this universe and this reality. I still have this sense of protection around me, you know. And so I've always returned back from my journeys and my travels unscathed. And I do believe it is because of that underlying knowing that's within me, that nothing can happen to me because everything is me. And it's all good. You know, and I feel like that if you go into this type of stuff with fear, you're vibrating wrong. And so then you open yourself up to lower level spirits, lower level beings and things like that. And so you know, it pushes you away from getting to the good portion because you've experienced the bad before you ever did the good, you know. And so if you have an ounce of fear, if you have any of that still resonant within you, I say drop that shit. Don't, you know, proceed no further, because you are opening yourself up to a whole nother realm of things and beings and potentialities that most people aren't even aware of. So there is a threat there. But as a man believeth, it is done unto him. You know, and I think if you can remember that, then everything will be okay. And as I said earlier, your belief gives way to knowing. And your knowing gives way to actually seeing that manifested in your life. You are the truth. What does that mean? That means whatever you denote to be truth will be manifested to you in your life. You are the truth, whether it be for your detriment or for your good. Just make sure that it's for your good and not your detriment. Be a good shepherd of your soul. Don't let your soul just go wherever the fuck it want to go. Like especially in these YouTube streets in this so-called conscious community, you think you would be exposed to things that would elevate you, but more so now than ever, you see things that more or less degrade you, more or less demote you, and things like that. And so it is your responsibility as the shepherd of your soul to not let it hang around the wrong crowd. You need to bring it beside the still waters. You need to feed it good, nutritious food. When you see your soul being depressed and smushed and smothered, it is your job as the shepherd of your soul to revive it, to give it what it needs. You understand? Like a good parent does any child. But your soul is worth much, much more than even your children, believe it or not. And so we have to become good shepherds of our soul and don't be just victims of circumstance. Learn how to know when to grab the wheel and learn how to know when to let go. Balance. Wanda Denise says we can have all the knowledge in the world and still choose to do the wrong thing. Correct, Wanda. Correct. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. They will take the knowledge, even those who have had similar experience of what I'm talking about, the cosmic consciousness, now termed the Christ consciousness. They will have that experience and still fuck over everybody. But somehow now they feel justified because, oh, well, I'm just fucking over myself, right? So they use it as an occasion for evil. And so, we again, that is the nature of this reality. It's the black and white checkerboard. We can't escape that. Jonathan Camper said Jesus saw that people were too preoccupied and busy with the affairs of the world. It's sad. I agree, Jonathan. I agree. And see, the reality of it is, I believe that the true Christians, again, this is only my opinion, I believe that the true Christians are those people who are able to manipulate this reality and who are able to use the subtle laws of this reality, rituals and things like that, to change things and to bring about their desired results. And these people have always been hunted, burned at the stake. They've been killed throughout all time. We see this mimic through the story of the mutants. The humans are always trying to kill the mutants, even though the mutants don't technically do anything wrong. It's the fact that the humans are scared of what the mutants can do if they so choose to. And so they'd rather have them dead. And so too, in this way, the true Christians, those who have had the Christ, which is the wisdom of God, understand that Jesus and Christ are two different things. Christ is a title. Christ means the Messiah, the anointed one. Anointed by what? The Christos oil. The one that I talked about that lights up the optic thalamus. The eye, the one eye. If thine eye be single, thy body should be whole of light. To be full of light, that eye. Okay, Moses was considered a Christ in the scripture, not just Jesus. There were more Christ than just Jesus. However, with the story of Jesus, it is really sad that, like you said, people were too preoccupied, as they are now, with the affairs of this world. They can't withdraw from it and just be still. And again, they've designed everything to where you have to work. And when you're not working, they got football and TV shows and all kinds of shit to keep you busy, so that you never be still and figure out that I am God. We love you too, BEs. What else we got? Oh, it was New Zealand when that shit happened at. Yeah, we got to learn to cut some of that shit off. All this extra ass news and shit from all over the world. Like, you literally know everything bad that happened today all over the world. You don't know everything good, though. You don't know everything good, I promise you that. But you can just about name everything major negatively that happened in the world. That's not good. That is not good for the health of your mind, for the health of your spirit. Scripture says anything good, anything pure, anything wonderful, blah, 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 blah. You think on those things. Why? Because thought becomes things. It's called guarding your heart. You know, in the scripture, thinking is attributed to the heart. It says the thoughts of the heart of man are evil. You understand? So thinking is attributed to the heart. So when it says guard your heart, we can say in our language, translate that and guard your mind. You understand? Guard your mind with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life, your life. And so if you're feeding it death and dying all fucking day long, what do you think you'll see? What are you sowing? You're allowing these seeds to be sowed in your mind, and what kind of harvest are you expecting? You know what I'm saying? You got to let some of this shit go. I know the drama be so juicy. Ooh, I'm going to get that tea today. But, you know, and that's okay too. That's okay too. But when you find when it seems like you're not getting the tea, but the tea is getting you, it's time to pull away from the tea table. You understand? Yes. Sun Angel D, thank you for tuning in. Sun Angel D says, words of wisdom. I love that advice. Take heed all. Be still. Yes, be still. Billy Frances says, love and happiness aren't things you find. They are things we must create for ourselves. Very good, Billy. I like that. That's a word. I'm going to say that again. That's a word. Billy says, love and happiness aren't things you find. There are things we must create for ourselves. So stop looking for love and happiness and start creating it. Billy brought that fire tonight. Stop looking for love and happiness and start creating that shit. Yes. That's a word. Thank you, Billy. Corey, what's up, Corey? Corey Edward. Clever Stranger says, Retha said them still waters run deep. And they do. You're welcome, Fontress L. And thank you for the donation, Fontress. Jonathan Capper says, still waters give a clear reflection. Very good, Jonathan. That's a good point you brought up there. Very, very good point. I want y'all to focus in on that. Jonathan says, still waters gives a clear reflection. Exactly. And you see, your mind is like a mirror. How can you reflect the state of the world properly if every time you turn around, you allowing pebbles to get thrown into the waters of your mind? Everything, you know, like that shit in New Zealand, that's a pebble in your mind. Everything unpure, everything that irritates your soul that you throw into the waters of your mind is causing ripples in your mind. And how can you reflect clearly the beauty and the perfection of God in wavy ass, turbulent ass water? So still your mind, cut the TV off, draw your circle in, you understand? And simplify your life. Listen, y'all, listen. The less you need to survive, the more independent you are. I'm going to say that again. The less you need to survive and be happy and content, the more independent and sovereign and godlike you are. So when they talk about cutting off attachments, everybody want to cut off their mama and daddy and shit like that, the kids and their responsibilities. But listen, what you're supposed to be doing is simplifying your life, where you don't need so much to be happy. You don't need so much to be content. What happens if your TV break down? What happens if the internet crash and you lose your phone? Can you still be happy? Can you still be content? Cut off all of that extra shit. You should need less to be happy and content. The less you need, the better you are. Because everything that you need makes you vulnerable to somebody else. Every demand you have makes you vulnerable to he who is supplying. Grasp that shit. That's deep. That's deep. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jonathan, for bringing that up. Still your mind and you can reflect better. Son, Angel D says, and maybe be silent for a while to hear the inner voice. Yes, that's the paradox here. Silence speaks. Silence speaks. And non-action is an action. Not choosing is a choice. You see the paradox? To not choose is a choice. When you be silent, the voice speaks. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lauren Simon says, please don't stop talking. I'll try not. Snap Turtle, peace, peace. Thank you for tuning in, fam. BE says, I did a card reading and got my answer. Archangel Michael. I do card readings from time to time. Fame Use V says, I have a question. What are the feelings one should feel when he or she finds her purpose? The feeling is fulfillment. It is the feeling of fulfillment. It's the fulfilling. It's like this. Have you ever been in, it usually happens in traumatic circumstances in people's life. Like they will have something traumatic happen, like say a car wreck or something like that, where time slows down. Like all of your awareness is brought into that moment, so much so till it seems like shit is going in slow motion. And so when you find your purpose and when you are occupied or preoccupied in that purpose, in that passion, time does not exist for you. Time and space does not exist. You're nowhere else but in the now. You're not thinking about the future. Your mind and your awareness is not in the past. All of you is present right now and right here. And see, for me, this is my passion. This right here. What I'm doing right now is my passion. Speaking about the overall unity. Seeing, being, speaking about it, being around it. Anything having to do with it, the overall unity of this life, of life itself. This is my passion. So I don't know how long I've been on this thing, but it feels like 30 minutes. You understand? I've lost track of time. I've lost track of space. Like nothing exists for me right now in this moment but you and me and this subject. And when you find yourself doing that, see, people who paint, they get like that. They get lost in the painting. If you're a music, you get lost in the music. If you're counseling people, you get lost in the counseling. Whatever it is, if you lose yourself in it, that's what I've been trying to look for here. I've been dancing around it, but essentially what I'm trying to say is, if you can lose your sense of self while you're doing it, that, my dear, is your purpose. That, my dear, is your passion. Whatever causes you to lose cognizance of a self, consciousness of yourself, if you can lose yourself in it, that's it. That's it. Copperman says spiritually refreshing. Lauren Simon says we need teachers and wisdom like you in school. Well, the way the school system is designed right now is designed to keep you away from this type of information. So it'll be a very long time before you'll hear anything like this in a school system. But we got to start somewhere. See these comments. Wonderful, wonderful affirmations here. It's so refreshing to get some sanity and wisdom in these YouTube streets. Yes, it is. Because, you know, I click on here and I be hoping to see something that I can relate to. Something that I can vibe with. The closest I've seen as of recently, as I said, I've been kind of staying off of these YouTube streets. Because I haven't seen anything too much edifying for my spirit. And like I said in one of my last audios, if it don't evolve me, it doesn't involve me. That's a jewel I got from somebody in my guardians. You understand? And so it wasn't evolving me, so shit. I X'd myself out of this shit. But there are a few that I've seen, like Fundi Fee. I've ran across a video or two of hers that seem to be more deeper and more in line of something that is edifying. You understand? But there really aren't too many these days. Miss Yogi G says, what is a deja vu? What is a deja vu? Well, like I think it was Honey Bunny or somebody said of how it's circles, it's cycles. You end up back where you started, you're just a higher level up. And so too is all eternity. You know, like Solomon says, there's nothing new under the sun. And so all of life is deja vu. But when you are in sync, you have more deja vu-like moments. You understand? And so the testimony of Jesus Christ is the spirit of prophecy, because there is nothing new under the sun. Amon Ra says, what about 666 a lot? Well, 666 a lot, for me anyway, again, you have to decide, you have to build up a relationship between your super and subconscious yourself. But for me, I don't actually see 666 hardly ever, to be honest with you. But 666 is basically something like getting the devil card in the tarot deck. Now, again, let's not get all religious-y when I say that, okay? Because all things are pure to he who is pure. Now 666 basically denotes the fleshly side of things, the more physical side of things. So that could be, again, could be a sign that you need to look more into the physical aspects of your life. Possibly something going on with your body. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to look more along along your animalistic nature and the physical fleshly side of things. Again, 666, six neutrons, 6 protons and 6 electrons. 666 represents carbon, which is the basic building block of all flesh, whether it be the flesh of a table, the flesh of a fruit, or the flesh of a human being, the flesh of a star. 666 is the basic building block of all flesh. So when you think 666, think of like the pinnacles of the tarot deck. It signifies anything of a materialistic nature. So maybe, just maybe, there's something within your material world that you need to take a look at. Maybe your health, the health of your body, not so much your spirit or your mind, but your body. Maybe something within your finances, something within this material aspect of this world, to me. Just Maxine says, okay, I'm tired of thinking. Well, just stop. Just stop. Go to sleep, like they say. You know, I try to tell people, they say stay woke, but you know, a funny thing happens if you stay woke for too long. You start to become delusional. And so in all things in life, there are cycles, you know, awake, sleep, night, day, in, out, dead, alive, dead, alive, dead, alive. You see what I'm saying? And so too with this conscious shit. It's okay to go to sleep. It's okay to not search after truth. It's okay to not look for knowledge and wisdom under every rock and every corner. You understand? It's okay to just live. It's okay to just watch a movie without trying to decipher what it means spiritually and allegorically, without trying to pull out the secrets of the universe from out of it. You understand what I'm saying? It's okay to just be normal, to go to sleep. It's okay to just enjoy a glass of wine and go out with your friends. You know what I mean? It's okay to just live. Just live. It's okay. Just stop. Very good, B.E. B.E. says, I don't let 666 bother me. Don't. Because it's not nothing to be bothered by. I enjoy having a body. I enjoy having a beast to command, which is my body, the mark of the beast, the body, the carbon copy of your spirit. You understand? The body is simply a carbon copy. It's literally made out of carbon, a carbon copy of your spirit. 666. It's the beast on which you ride. It's nothing to be afraid of. Now, some people are more bodily or fleshly inclined than they are spiritually inclined. As I said, you are a marriage of heaven and hell. There are things from your body, things from the flesh, the lower nature, which tries to pull you down again. And then there are things from the higher nature, which tries to pull you up. And so there are some who are more beastly or animalistic with their animalistic type lust and things like that. And there are some who are more angelic in terms of the ability to master and control their emotions and their thoughts and their very own essence, their own being. Billy says, I posted earlier that I see 444 2 times a day. Well, Billy, for me, that signifies to me that you are your spirit guides, or the spirit, the Holy Spirit, whatever terms you want to give it, is very close to you. Let go, relax, get in the flow. This is the perfect time to just get in the flow of things. Just like a river that is heading downstream per se. Just relax, lay on your back, and let the river take you where it's going to take you. Aziza Amunet, thank you for tuning in. The conscious mind can disrupt the perfection in the subconscious mind. That is true, Jonathan. Jonathan, I see you lit. Yasmin Bay, peace. Girlbot says, good advice, Crystal. I'll start taking notes. Just Maxine says, my chest is burning. Interesting. Money Mind Manifest says, I see 999 and 333. Well, Money Mind Manifest, if you want to know, again, like I told somebody earlier, ask, and know that whatever you're led to is exactly what you need to hear. And begin to incorporate that. Build up a system of knowledge. What else? I'm trying to check these comments, you guys. I don't know. I told Kendall. Aunt Maxine, is that you? Just Maxine? Is that my Aunt Maxine? Let me see. At Andre the Goddess, he is with you. I was just getting ready to say that. The birthday. What else? I'm starting to realize. Peace and love, Crystal and spiritual fam. Miss Q in the house. Peace and love, Miss Q. Maria says, I see my birthday numbers all the time. Maxine says, I'm going in the house. I'm cold as hell. Aletha Busby says, study and know thyself. And see, this is the thing I want to make clear, Aletha Busby. Thank you for tuning in, sweetheart. People say know thyself, but people don't really explain how people should know thyself. They begin searching through books and text and all kinds of things in an attempt to know thyself, when it's very, very simple. All you have to do to know yourself is what you do to know anybody else. Ask yourself questions. Observe what you do. Observe how you react to certain situations, different types of stimuli. Observe yourself and ask yourself questions. Actually have a dialogue with yourself. And that's how you know yourself. You need no extra tools. You need no books. You need no cards. You need no people. You need nothing but yourself to know thyself. It's just that easy. You don't have to go to a monastery. You don't need a master teacher to figure out how to know yourself. If you know how to know somebody else, then you sure as the hell know how to know yourself. People make it way harder than what it actually is. You don't need books. You don't need master teachers. You don't need none of that shit to know yourself. And when you've discovered yourself, when you've truly found yourself, you found the source of all reality. Hmm? And there'll be no more questions. Miss Monet, good evening, Miss Monet. Thank you for tuning in. Billy Frances says, I am frequently waking up at 3:11 a.m. and that worries me because I hear that's the satanic witching hour. Well, Billy, don't let it worry you, baby, because you got to understand when people say satanic, okay, look, I want you to understand. I'm not sure what your religious background is and what you perceive Satan to be. But even if you're a Christian and you perceive Satan to be as a lot of Christians perceive Satan to be, I want you to understand that Satan, even in your form of religion, is under the control of the sovereign God. Period. So Satan cannot do anything to you that God does not allow. So understand, as a man believeth, so is he. The witching hour, it simply means, Billy, at that time, it is simply meaning that the veil between the spirit realm and the physical realm is very, very thin. And you can manifest things more easily. You can communicate with beings in the other realm more easily. If y'all remember that clock I showed y'all, okay? It had Godhead at 12 o'clock, energy at 1 o'clock, gases at 2 o'clock, all the way down to humans at 6 o'clock. And then 7 o'clock was the angels. And then I want to say 8 o'clock was the dominions or the principalities, one of the two. Well, anyway, the point is that everything from 12 to 6 is what we call the physical realm on that clock. And everything from 6 to 12, matter of fact, let me go ahead and pull that picture back up for you guys, okay? Nope. Let me go ahead and pull that picture back up so as I talk about it, you can get a better idea for those who are possibly just joining in and did not quite get a chance to see that picture. Give me just a second, you guys, to pull that thing up. There it is. Okay, y'all see it there? Everything from 12 o'clock here, the Godhead, all the way to 6 o'clock, the human, is part of the physical realm or visible manifestation. Now, everything from 6 here, 6 o'clock, all the way back up to 12 is part of what we call the spiritual realm. Okay? Now, you as a human being in between, you have a physical body and you also have a spiritual body. You have both. You are able to operate in both. Again, those people who do astral travel and astral projection, those are the people who are able to separate their physical body, which belongs between 12 and 6, okay, on the right side of the screen, from their spiritual body, which belongs to the world, that is between 6 to 12 on the left side of the screen, okay? But you are a marriage of heaven and hell. You are both. Now, the witching hour simply is the time in which the veil, the wall, the partition that separates the physical realm from the spiritual realm is very, very, very thin. So a lot of people will see what they call ghosts or spirits during this hour because the people, or the beings rather, from the spirit realm can intermingle with the physical realm much more easily during that hour. Okay? The veil is very, very thin then. That's all that means. That's it. That's it. Okay? But again, if you know who you are and you keep yourself in a high vibration, you are going to be fine. You're going to be fine. The only thing that these beings in the spirit realm can essentially do to you is make you harm yourself, implant thoughts in your minds and things like that. But again, this is why, a lot of things you see in religion is based off of these deeper truths of this reality. This is why they tell you to pray before you go to bed at night. It's simply to put you in a higher vibrational state. You understand? It's to release all that negative shit before you lay down. What does the scripture say? Don't let the sun go down on your anger. Because if you let the sun go down on your anger, then you're in a very, very negative state. And by the sheer virtue of you vibrating to the frequency of anger, you allow and open yourself up to angry motherfucking beings from the spirit realm. I know people like to think that it's all cakes and fun and wonderful over there, but it's not. It's dualistic, just like here. And so don't let the sun go down on your anger. Meditate, pray, whatever you want to call it. Just get rid of that negative shit before you close your eyes and go to sleep. And you will be okay. And even if you don't, just know deep within the recesses of your soul that you are kept as a man thinketh it is done unto him. And you will be okay. Now, let's see. Checking out these comments. I'm Robin Mensa on Facebook. Okay, hi Robin. Okay, DD Lightful says at French we. Oh, well, that's a French we. I'm not going to read that. And I can't get back in the house. Oh, Lord. Just Maxine is going through some things. Sorry that you're going through that, Maxine. Y'all play too much. God, a consuming fire that will purify anything that is not like him. Exactly. Exactly, Jonathan. And so again, as I say, even the negative things that seem to be happening to us is not happening to us, but rather is happening for us. And it's all simply to purify us and to evolve us and to make us more and more into what we should be, essentially what we were created to be, which is godlike beings. And it gets, as the scripture says, I had not seen. Literally, the levels is infinite. It's infinite. They just keep going and going and going. And so, I have a pretty vivid imagination, me, myself. And my imagination can take me extremely, extremely far. But the idea is you can't go very far. But anyway, let me see, you guys. This thing is saying all kinds of crazy shit on here. The stream is bad or something like that. So maybe I'm breaking up right now. I'm not really sure. But I'm trying to read y'all comments and I'm having a very, very difficult time doing so. With all of this extra shit on my screen. Angel says you are a true master teacher as well as master student. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that, Angel. I try to keep myself very, very humble and not to think of myself above what I am, because I am very hyper aware that there are beings that are infinitely more aware than myself. And I also know that there are some that are infinitely less aware than myself. And so no matter how high you go up on the ladder or how low you go on the ladder, there's still an infinite amount of beings above you and below you in both directions. So there is no room for for ego, as we generally use the term ego. There's really no room for that. I don't care how pretty you are. There's somebody that's infinitely more beautiful than you, and there's somebody infinitely more ugly than you. I don't care how smart you are, the same is true. So just, learn to not to compare yourself to others and just relax in who you are and what you are and where you are. And be okay with that shit. You don't have to prove nothing to nobody. I'm going to say that again. You don't have to prove nothing to nobody. It doesn't matter if they don't think you're conscious and if they don't think you're woke because you do this and do that. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks about your journey. It is your journey. Learn to be, as long as you're content with yourself, that should be okay. And your contentment with yourself should not be contingent upon how other people feel about you, about your growth. You understand? Facts. Okay, Yogi G says, what do you think about deja vu? Yeah, okay, I think I answered that one, Mr. Yogi. It's just a remembering. We just keep doing this shit over and over and over again until we drop the mic and hit the next level up. Just Maxine says, Veil is home. Veil as in velvet? That would be really nice if that is true. Chantel Corleone says, squirrels come up to me every day. Wow. Yeah. You realize that all of nature began to pay you homage. It's a strange little phenomenon that happens with you and the animals. Delightful says, animals love me. BE says, I look deep into my dog's eyes. She started shaking. Wow. Wow. That's beautiful. Wow. What else we got? Animals are spirits too. Better get along with your animal folks. Yes. Yeah, they are. Pure sold their van and dipped, and Ra and I probably woke up seeing that. What? Whoa, y'all. Am I hearing this right? Is this some carbonation tea going on right here? It say, hold on. They got a whole bunch of shit on the screen I can barely read, but it says, Pure sold their van and dipped. Ra and Aya probably woke up seeing that. I'm gonna have to check that shit out. Whoa. Everybody that's seeing these numbers need to come together. I agree, Aziza. I agree. And that's where I hope to move more towards coming together on some real conscious shit instead of just toggling ideas and things like that, which that has its place and that is good. But I really want to begin to form a family of people who are per se who have evolved their spirit side a little more. You know, I see in the conscious community a lot of people have evolved their physical side, but I want to communicate with more people who've evolved their spirit side to the point to where they are able to do what they consider to be magic or different things like that. What else we got? The Age of Consciousness. Miss Q with some affirmation. Has anyone read the book called The Alchemist? Says Miss Monet. I'm not sure. It sounds like something I may have read. I'm not really sure. Sometimes I'll just get bits and pieces from a book and then lose interest in it and move on. And I've come to the realization that that's just how the spirit moves. That's just how the spirit works with me. It'll draw me to a video, a book, or something like that. I'll read just a piece of it and then suddenly lose interest. But as I continue to do this, as the years roll by, I realize that the spirit simply brings me to what I need and only what I need. And then all of those little pieces come together to formulate a bigger picture. And so there are no accidents, there are no coincidences, only synchronicities. So, but I will check that out. Can sing the same numbers all the time. Wait, let me see. Just be a way to make you pay closer attention. Yes, French wee wee, it is. And I've noticed that it seems to be one of the preliminary ways to make you pay attention. It seems to be one of the easiest ways to make you pay attention. For whatever reason, the repeating numbers seem to, I mean, really think about it. What else could draw a person's attention besides these repeating numbers? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were to imagine, if you were a spirit being and you were trying to contact a hybrid per se, because as I showed on that picture, everybody from basically 7 o'clock to 12 are pure spirit beings. Everyone from just about 5 o'clock to 12, or excuse me, from 12 to 5, are almost pure flesh beings with very minimal amount of spirit side to them. But humans are literally hybrids, half and half. And so if you were a spirit and you were trying to contact somebody who was a hybrid and trying to get their attention to your presence, how would you do that? What do you think would be a way? What could you use in order to get their attention? And so when you really sit down and think about it for a long, long time, you come to the realization that one of the best, not the best way, is from the repeating numbers, constantly drawing their attention to that, because anything else can be kind of whisked away as coincidence. So very good, French wee wee. All right, let me know if y'all can hear me somehow. This was dropped, and I just picked it back up. Again, I'm not familiar with this app, so I tried. Okay, good. Miss Monet, thank you so much. Purple Lover 77, thank you so much. Asafohima, thank you. DeWarren 212. Okay, all right, you guys. Good. The live stream was dropped for a second there, and I had to click back on. I didn't know you could actually just do that. Pick up where you left off. That's pretty, Fami Use V says, I resonate with you. The experience you had with seeing another world. I had a dream once where I saw myself in a world where everything in nature was intensified. I was in awe. Well, I did a video once before on Facebook where I allowed guests onto the platform, and strangely enough, a lot of people relayed that to be their experience, that they went to another Earth or a place something like Earth, but the blues and the greens were more blue and more green. So believe it or not, that seems to be a hallmark characteristic of these spiritual type experiences. But again, if I were to guess what it was, going back to the Russian sleeping dolls or whatever those dolls are called analogy, I would have to say that it is like Earth, but an octave above, hence why all the colors pop more. Exactly the place in which we're building a spiritual body or a new temple in which for our spirit to dwell later. It's like a future home, a foretaste, so to speak. Purple Lover says, I love animals and I tend to attract opinionated animals around me. At one point, birds were waking across my feet. Even had one bird to sit on the porch to act for bird seed at one point. Yeah, I believe you. I definitely believe you, Purple Lover. Oh, Miss Monet says, oh, this makes me miss my pet baby, my cat. She was so precious. Yeah, I lost a dog recently. It's been, it's difficult. Very, very. We are all a collective piece to the puzzle called life. Miss Carolyn James, thank you for tuning in, sis. For gracing us with your presence. Miss Monet says, whenever I meet a difficult person or situation, I immediately think this is a trial. Now, how are you going to respond? If you even respond at all, thus not giving up your energy. Very good, Miss Monet. I like the way, let me tell you what about your response that I like here, most of all. The fact that you added in, if you even respond at all. I think so often we forget that we have a choice just to not respond. You don't have to respond to everything. Not responding is a response. Money Mind Manifest says, Crystal, this is so good. I'm glad you think so. Yes. Man, y'all sharp. And see, this is why I call you my guardians. Because y'all are not just an audience. Y'all are a guardians. This is a family of gods. People who know who they are, or at least are on the road to getting there. And your desire to get there already denotes your arrival. You understand? The family of gods. Yes, minerals are powerful. Aziza says people will still draw to you. Let's see. Will still draw to you to help bring out who you are, to reveal you more of who you are. Exactly. Crystal, you have been a messenger for my spirit lately, and I thank you for being sensitive to the spirit. You're most welcome. My mom, okay, let's see. Miss Monet says, my mom had a rule that as family, we never go to bed mad at each other. Very good, and that's the best way to be. That's really, really the best way to be. Well, you guys, I think I'm going to call it a night. I got to go do a few little things before I go to bed in a few hours. But anyway, I'm going to play a little song just to kind of exit us out here and just say a few more little things just to kind of tidy this up. And hopefully we'll get to do this again sometime really, 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 really soon. Let's go with this one here. This one is called Emotional. And again, I thank y'all so much for sharing your time with me. And as you exit out and go into your regular lives, if you don't remember nothing that we talked about tonight, and we've talked about a lot, is just to remember who you are and to remember to foster an attitude of gratitude. All of life is sacred. The act of eating is sacred. The act of drinking is sacred. The act of breathing is sacred. Just the act of being you is sacred. So whatever your ego is, play that ego well. Play it well. All of life is a stage. Make it a good movie. Make it exciting. Get out and enjoy your life. Everything that you need is already within you. Everything that you need is already within you. Searching is wonderful and searching is good. But sometimes you gotta stop searching and just start living. And I'm feeling like that is the message for this group on tonight. That it just might be time for you to stop searching and start living. Allowing life to just unfold naturally. Get out of your mind and get into your life. Lose yourself. Just lose yourself. That's the point of it all. It's the point of all of this. relax your mind. Do things that settle your soul. Do things that calm your spirit. Do things that give you joy. And understand that God, the higher self, that the universe receives joy through the instrumentality that is you, that is your ego. So it is your duty. It is your duty as an expression and a manifestation of the universe to find your joy and to wrap yourself in it. It is your duty. Like somebody in The Guardians said, I'm going to have to correct myself. Don't find your joy, create your joy. Wrap yourself in it like a cloth. How else is the oversoul to get joy lest you get joy, huh? So it is your solemn duty to create joy in your life, to create peace in your life, and to pursue that peace. To create love in your life. Don't worry about what you don't have. Focus on what you do have. Anything pure, anything good. You focus on those things and watch and see if those things don't manifest in your life. You got to get to work. You got to bring up your own vibrations. You got to work out your own salvation. Who are you waiting on? You waiting on somebody else to love you? Love yourself. You waiting on somebody else to praise you? Praise yourself. You waiting on somebody else to put salve on your bleeding heart? Apply the salve yourself. Don't wait for me to stir up your faith. Stir up your own faith. Realize the power that is resident within you. I've already told y'all the kingdom of heaven is within you. And there's a formula. If you seek ye the kingdom of heaven and all its righteousness, not its evil, not its dirtiness. See, what you focus on will grow. Seek ye the kingdom of heaven and all its righteousness, and all of those things shall be added unto you. And I want you to understand that it works in the opposite. That if you seek your kingdom of heaven, the kingdom that is within you, and all of its dirtiness, that all of those things will be added unto you. So let us make a point. Let us make a point to focus on the lovely aspects of ourselves, the things of ourselves that make us proud. Don't wait for your mama to say she's proud of you. Tell yourself that you're proud of yourself. Everybody has at least one noteworthy thing that they've done in their life. Everything you've done may not have been good, but you pick the one thing that you may have done that is good, and you focus on that. That's what you do. And if you have children, look at your children, and I want you to see the divine behind their eyes. I want you to understand that the universe is flowing through everything that is here. You are constantly being created, moment from moment to moment. Don't dwell in the past of what you coulda, shoulda, and woulda. You are a new being today. You're a totally different being than you was 5 minutes ago. The cells have died and replaced themselves just that fast. You're like a whirlpool. Have you ever seen a whirlpool? The whirlpool maintains its shape, but the water in the whirlpool is constantly draining out and renewing itself. And you are in like manner the same way. Your cells, the thoughts, the energy within your body is constantly draining out and renewing itself. You are renewed from moment to moment. Utilize that. Utilize that. It's something magical that happens once you come to the realization that the God of the entire universe, the creator, the preserver, the sustainer, and the destroyer of all that there is pulsing through your very veins, beating your very hearts. There's a power in that. Something happens to you. You contact a greater part of yourself, and you could do things that you couldn't do before. Remember who you are. The world is going to tell you you're nothing. Your friends and family is going to tell you that you can't do something. But you got to remember who you are. You are greater than you know. I thank you all for tuning in tonight. I love you all. I appreciate you sharing your time and your support of the content on this platform with me. And as I said in this audio, life is like riding a bicycle. The only way to keep balance and maintain balance is to just keep going. I love you all. Peace and good night.